Join Professor the Honorable Wendell Abel, a leading expert in psychiatry, as he explores the long-lasting effects of childhood trauma and the path to recovery. It's an important conversation you don't want to miss. So tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, April 2 for the 2025 Grace Kennedy Foundation Lecture, Breaking the Cycle of Childhood Trauma. Register now at Grace Kennedy Foundation's Eventbrite page to watch the live stream. Don't miss it. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. On the next episode, we'll explore from standard to safety, the role of accreditation and certification in food safety.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Learn about smart betting strategies with AnyBet. Bet wisely, enjoy responsibly, and maximize your success. The temperature by AnyBet is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the Bank of Jamaica says internet banking fraud has gone up by nearly 900% since 2020.
The central bank says domestic financial markets remained generally stable during 2024.
The JLP's Charles Sinclair says PNP President Mark Golding still has questions to answer regarding his citizenship status.
He said he was going to go revoke or renounce, and we still want to see the certificate of renunciation. And I'll know him can't produce it.
The PNP's Donovan Mitchell has accused Prime Minister Andrew Holness of misleading the country on efficiencies at local authorities.
I hear you say last night that the municipal corporations are holding up subdivisions and building plans and all of that. Lie you and tell!
The NWC has extended its amnesty program for another 2 months.
Driver of Benz involved in traffic crash that claimed 4 lives yesterday warned for prosecution.
In news from the rest of the world, TNT Police Commissioner yet to be charged with any crime 60 days after being suspended.
French far-right leader Marie Le Pen has attacked her ban from public office as a political decision.
In headline sports this afternoon, one of Jamaica's biggest track stars pulls out of Grand Slam track meet set for this weekend.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, both the governing JLP and the opposition PNP are declaring victory following the Supreme Court's decision to lift an injunction against the government's push to declare Portmore the 15th parish. But who is actually right? The PNP's Fitz Jackson and the JLP's Andrew Wheatley will join us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we'll ask, the police say major crimes are declining. Do you feel safer in your community? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio. You can also message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693 or leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, dancehall star Mr. Vegas made his debut on the political campaign trail on Sunday. He criticized former Prime Minister PJ Patterson for his role in the FinSac debacle. Vegas will tell us why he's decided to enter politics.
At 7, the UK says it's prepared to retaliate against US tariffs. Is this the start of a serious rupture in the so-called special relationship between the two countries? All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile. Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app. Available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, March 31, 2025.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The Bank of Jamaica, the BOJ, says internet banking fraud has gone up by nearly 900% since 2020. The central bank's latest financial stability report for 2024 has identified internet fraud and cyber risks as two of the most significant emerging threats to the country's banking sector. The report was posted on the BOJ's website today. Siobhan Campbell has been reading the report.
Cybercrimes have been on the rise across the world due to the significant expansion of online banking sparked by the COVID-19 pandemic. Jamaica has seen a similar expansion. According to the Bank of Jamaica, internet banking fraud has increased due to a shift towards electronic methods for transacting business. It says between 2020 and 2023, the country saw an 890% increase in internet banking fraud. That's an increase in excess of $330 million compared to 2019 and the years prior. The central bank also noted an uptick in physical robberies involving currency management and cash-in-transit service providers and their impact on deposit-taking institutions, DTIs. However, the central bank says this represented a smaller portion of the monetary value of criminal-related losses to financial institutions and their customers. Based on a study conducted in 2024, credit and debit card fraud accounted for an annual average of just over 69% of the $800 million of total fraud amounts reported by financial institutions at the end of 2023. Among major fraud types, loan and internal frauds continue to occur the least frequently and were of a lesser values. Notably, card and internet banking frauds were most prevalent in the higher digital traffic areas such as major towns and cities. Kingston, Portmore, and Spanish Town featured prominently as hotspots for internet banking fraud. With respect to bank robberies, the BOJ says there were 5 reported attacks against armored couriers during the review year and 10 robbery attempts at ABM locations. Stolen funds amounted to approximately $145 million. Reported attacks against armored couriers were similarly concentrated in major towns and city centers in a few parishes, while other forms of robbery, mainly targeting ABMs, were identified in more rural areas. Overall, deposit-taking institutions indicated that the impact of robberies on customer relationships was minimal. However, in an effort to maintain stability, the BOJ says various measures were undertaken by commercial banks to prevent and recover losses associated with fraud occurrences. The central bank says prosecution and enforcement of fraud cases were also undertaken. Additionally, banks introduced new anti-fraud measures. However, the BOJ is warning that fraudsters are similarly adapting their techniques in response to tighter controls, leading to a significant rise in social engineering tactics. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the Bank of Jamaica says domestic financial markets remained generally stable during 2024. It says the domestic stock market showed a modest improvement relative to the prior year. Similarly, the foreign exchange and bond markets exhibited relative stability, with bond yields fluctuating within a narrow range. The bank says the profitability of deposit-taking institutions declined over the period, mainly due to higher operating expenses. Despite this, the BOJ says financial institutions maintain strong capital, asset quality, and liquidity positions. Similarly, it says the securities dealers and the insurance sectors maintained capital and liquidity levels well above their regulatory requirements despite facing constrained profitability. The central bank is again warning there is also some risk to financial stability from policy uncertainty in the United States and heightened geopolitical tensions. It says this risk could lead to a pause or reversal in the monetary policy stance in major economies and potentially in Jamaica. The bank says these risks have the potential to create economic fallout.
To the political campaign trail now, the Deputy General Secretary of the JLP, Senator Charles Sinclair, says PNP President Mark Golding still has questions to answer about the status of his citizenship. Senator Sinclair was speaking at a JLP workers' conference in central St. James yesterday.
On the other side, you have a man who don't know whether he's a Jamaican or he's a British. He said he was going to go revoke or renounce his British citizenship. And we still want to see the certificate of renunciation. And I'll know him can't produce it. Him go on one little blogger site on social media and hold up a paper that nobody can see. He said, this is my certificate.
Mr. Golding announced he had renounced his British citizenship last September following public pressure surrounding the issue. But the JLP has maintained that Jamaicans should see the proof of that renunciation. In a bid to put the matter to rest, Golding, who was a guest on an online show, showed what he said was the document proving he's no longer a dual citizen. Senator Sinclair is questioning why Mr. Golding did not present the evidence during his budget presentation in the Parliament.
He had the perfect stage to present to Jamaica the renunciation certificate. And him talking at the budget, where every Jamaican watching the budget presentations, listening to the presentations of the presenters during the budget. I was under the belief that him would hold up the certificate of renunciation in Parliament and say, see the renunciation here, I am committed to Jamaica. He couldn't do that. So to take yourself and go on a vlogger site and go hold up one paper that we can't see, we can't question it, we can't put no question to you. I am asking Jamaica today and the people of Central St. James, can you trust that man?
Senator Charles Sinclair, a Deputy General Secretary of the JLP.
Meanwhile, Minister of Finance and the Public Service Favour Williams says she renounced her U.S. citizenship to serve the Jamaican people. Mrs. Williams made the disclosure during an interview with Nationwide's Ricardo Brooks at the Jamaica Labour Party's Area Council 1 on Sunday.
Maybe a lot of people don't know this, but I did give up my U.S. citizenship to enter politics in Jamaica. So all the conversations about dual citizenship and all of that, it's personal to me as well.
Her revelation comes amid growing public scrutiny of parliamentarians who hold dual citizenship. In 2024, amid mounting pressure, opposition leader Mark Golding, opposition spokesperson on finance Julian Robinson, and Minister with responsibility for water Matthew Samuda renounced their foreign citizenships. Mrs. Williams reaffirmed her commitment to fully serving the Jamaican people.
Wanted to indicate to the people of Jamaica that we're all in. I am all in. The Prime Minister is all in. We have no other place to go. I want the Jamaicans to know that we are here for them and we wake up every day to do the best that we can by them.
Favour Williams, Minister of Finance and the Public Service.
Still on politics, Mayor of Mandeville and People's National Party aspirant for Central Manchester Donovan Mitchell has criticised Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness over announcements he made in Manchester on the weekend. During his address at the Manchester Chamber of Commerce's awards banquet on Saturday, Dr. Holness said that municipal corporations will be first on the streamlining process for efficiency and economic development SPEED program. However, speaking at the Royal Flat Divisional Conference on Sunday, the mayor accused the Prime Minister of misleading, or rather being misleading, in his reference to municipal authorities. Mitchell pointed to the efficiency of the Manchester Municipal Corporation. Meanwhile, Mayor Mitchell also criticized Dr. Holness for announcing a plan for the redevelopment and renaming of Brooks Park in Mandeville. Mitchell says the focus should be on the upgrading of the Mandeville market.
I hear them talking about parking Mandeville. S.E. Brooks, whether I'm a Labour writer, PNP and no P, left Brooks Park for the people of Manchester and no Andrew Holness. None of them cannot come here and remove what is here. You have to go somewhere else. If you really want to do something for Manchester and for Mandeville. You will tell Desmond Mackenzie, say, me Donovan say, the plans we had for the Mandeville market, that he has thrown away, I'll put it in a shelf, I'll put it in 513, take it up, dig it up, and make we talk about Mandeville town.
That's Donovan Mitchell, the mayor of Mandeville.
Opposition leader Mark Golding says he is looking forward to electing Stacey Knight as the Member of Parliament for North East St. Andrew. Mr. Golding lives in the constituency now, represented by JLP veteran Justice Minister Delroy Chuck. Chuck has held the seat since 1997. Golding was speaking on Sunday at the candidate presentation rally for Miss Knight.
I live around there, sir, and I vote around there, sir, right here in Northeast St. Andrew. And I'm looking forward to putting my X beside your name, clearly beside the head, because it will be the first time that I'm electing the Member of Parliament in this constituency for the People's National Party.
Knight is the daughter of PNP stalwart Katie Knight. Speaking to comrades on Sunday, Knight says she's committed to serving residents of the area.
Before I took on this task to be the representative for this constituency, I thought about it long and hard. I agonized. And when I finally made up my mind, I knew that I was making the right decision. Right because I am purpose-driven. Right because what I'm doing is not for me. It is for the benefit of my fellow Jamaicans. It's right because I am committed to serving with integrity, with passion, and with purpose.
Stacey Knight, PNP standard bearer for Northeast St. Andrew.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is
29 degrees Celsius here in Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay. Continuing the news. The National Water Commission, the NWC, has extended its amnesty program for another 2 months. The new deadline to apply for the program is May 31. In a release today, the NWC says the extension will allow customers more time to benefit from significant debt relief and reconnection waivers. The amnesty took effect on January 2 this year. More than 20,000 Jamaicans have since applied for the program. The NWC says it acknowledges the challenges faced by customers based on the number of queries submitted over the past 3 months. According to the Commission, the extension will provide continued access to a 50% write-off on disconnected amounts. Residential accounts disconnected for 6 months or more will benefit from the write-off upon payment of the remaining half. There will also be a waiver of reconnection fees. The NWC says pensioners, path beneficiaries, and individuals living with disabilities will also receive a full discount on debts older than 2 years.
The driver of the Mercedes-Benz involved in a fatal collision on the P.J. Patterson Highway on Sunday has been warned for prosecution. 4 individuals were killed in the collision. Dead are 29-year-old Wendy Lamy, 22-year-old Taisha Manhertz, 8-year-old Troy Stewart, and 27-year-old Andre McLeish. ACP Dr. Gary McKenzie is head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, PSTEB.
A Probox motor car was headed into the direction of Kingston with about 11 persons on board, to include some children, when the driver somehow lost control and crashed with the median. The vehicle overturned. Whilst the persons were attempting to get out of the vehicle, we understand that a Benz SUV motor car traveled along the said roadway heading into Kingston in the same easterly direction when it crashed with this vehicle. As a result, several persons were hit.
ACP Dr. Gary McKenzie, head of PSTEB. The Island Traffic Authority ITA says the number of people killed in road crashes since the start of the year is at 92. The figure represents a 16% decline compared to the corresponding period last year. According to the ITA, there were 83 fatal collisions up to March 30.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
In Trinidad and Tobago, 60 days after she was arrested, suspended police commissioner Erla Harewood Christopher is yet to be charged with any crime. Harewood Christopher was arrested in January for granting an import license to secure high-powered weapons for the Security Services Agency. She was released on February 1. She was also removed from office as the criminal probe continued. But an investigative team says it's awaiting advice from the country's DPP on what charges could be brought against Harewood Christopher. Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin confirmed that the investigative team has once again submitted the relevant case files to the DPP. Harewood Christopher was appointed commissioner in February of 2023. She had 3.5 months left on her contract at the time of her suspension.
French far-right leader Marine Le Pen has attacked her ban from running for public office for 5 years as a political decision by the judge. On Monday, the French court banned Le Pen from standing for public office after she was found guilty of misappropriating EU funds to finance her far-right party. This means she will not be able to contest the French presidential election in 2027. Le Pen also accused the court of trying to block her candidacy for the presidential election, calling the ban worthy of authoritarian regimes. She has also been given a 4-year prison sentence. 2 years will be spent with an electronic tag rather than in custody, while the other 2 are suspended. Le Pen was also fined 100,000 euros. Reacting to the conviction, Le Pen's lawyer says it's a blow to democracy and she intends to appeal.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the Bank of Jamaica says internet banking fraud has gone up by nearly 900% since 2020.
The JLP's Charles Sinclair says PNP President Mark Golding still has questions to answer regarding his citizenship status.
PNP's Donovan Mitchell accuses Prime Minister Andrew Holness of misleading the country on efficiencies at local authorities.
The NWC has extended its amnesty program for another 2 months.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robeanne Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Commercial spaces for you. Parks and attractions for you. Housing and residential developments for you. Beautiful rental properties for you. Improving quality of life through infrastructure development across Jamaica for you. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen for you. Brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation.
UDC for you. Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. We start with an update on the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League because it's a game at the moment at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex, and it features Chapelton Maroons against the former champions Waterhouse. It's 0-0 as we speak, 22 minutes gone in the game. Chapelton Maroons are aiming to move further away from the drop zone, where a victory would move them to 10th, while Waterhouse are still vying for a playoff spot. A win for for the former champions will push them to 47 points and up to the crucial 6th playoff spot. In the second game of the doubleheader at 7:45, second place Arnott Gardens will be looking to cut Mount Pleasant's lead atop the standings to just a single point when they face defending champions Cavalier in a blockbuster tonight. A win for Arnott will put them on 68 points, one behind Mount Pleasant, who are on 69. Yesterday, Montego Bay United and Portmore United played out a goalless draw, Bay missing an opportunity to go second. Harbourview clipped to Dunby Holding by a 0-0. 10-man Humber Lion and Molynes United played out a 1-1 draw. Tivoli held Mount Pleasant to a 0-0 draw. The second time this season, Mount Pleasant were dropping points at home and racing. They're still in it for a playoff spot. They beat Vere by 2-0. Fans of regional cricket are still digesting news that there's leadership. There's leadership in two of the teams, two of the regional teams. Yeah, there's a leadership shake-up. Jamaica's Rovman Powell has been stripped of the T20 captaincy, and Craig Brathwaite has stepped down as captain of the Test team. Shea Hope, who is already the one-day international captain, now takes over from Powell, while Brathwaite's replacement is expected to be named in a few weeks. Hope was appointed T20 captain on the advice from Darren Sammy, who is coach of West Indies in all formats of the men's game. Hope's first games in charge of the T20 squad will come in June when the West Indies takes on England and Ireland in a total of 6 T20 games away. Powell had been in charge of the T20 team from 2023 and had good victories against India, South Africa and England, all at home. Meanwhile, President of Cricket West Indies Dr. Kishore Shallow says Brathwaite's decision to step down as captain of the Test team did not come as a surprise to the board. Dr. Shallow says Brathwaite actually informed him of his intentions earlier this year.
During the Pakistan tour, after the first match, Craig actually reached out to me as president, suggesting that he was going to announce his resignation pretty much on that tour. This was before the second match, second test. And so I told him it may not be the most opportune time to announce. And he explained to me the reasons why he wanted to move on from captaincy then. Explained it's a case where he enjoys the responsibility, but he believes he could give the team more if he just focused on his batting. And I managed to convince him not to announce his resignation at that particular point.
Brathwaite replaced Jason Holder as captain during the pandemic, and on his watch, the West Indies won or drew 9 of 16 series. They beat England at home in 2022 and won in Australia for the first time in 27 years at Brisbane in 2024. Not the series, a game. The series ended in a draw. And in his last game as captain in January, West Indies ended a 34-year drought in Pakistan. Brathwaite has played 98 test matches for West Indies. Former Jamaicans, including former Olympic and world champion Omar McLeod, have been added to the list of the inaugural staging of Grand Slam track. McLeod, who won in the 110 meters gold at the 2015 World Championships in Beijing and Olympic gold in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil a year later, comes in for 2020 Olympic champion Hansel Parchment, who is scratched from the event. Jodine Williams, who reached the women's 60 meters final at the World Indoors in Nanjing, China last week, has also been added to the lineup, along with Asini Wilson and the outstanding Zandrian Barnes. 2019 100 meters hurdles champion Nia Ali has also been added to the star-studded cast at the 3-day meet Friday, Saturday and Sunday at the National Stadium. Other top names to have scratched from the meet are Favor Ali and young American star Quincy Hall. The overseas athletes are scheduled to start arriving in Jamaica on Wednesday. Still with athletics, gold medalist Letsile Tebogo, Kishane Thompson and Akani Simbini will renew a sprint rivalry when the Wonder Diamond League meet heads to Shanghai on May 3. Botswana's Tebogo added Olympic 200 meters gold in Paris last year to his world 100 meters and 200 meters silver from Budapest 2023. Tebogo finished 6th in the 100 meters final in Paris, a race in which Jamaica's Kishane Thompson secured silver. Simbini finished 4th on that occasion, but the South African sprinted to the first global individual medal of his career at the recent World Indoors in Nanjing. They'll be joined in the 100 meters in Shanghai by Tokyo Olympic champion Italy's Marcel Jacobs, Great Britain's world indoor 60 meters champion Jeremiah Azu, USA's 2019 world 100 meters champion Christian Coleman, and local favorite Ji Zhengye. 2 goals from Gavin Thorpe. And going back to a bit of football here, they helped Police National to a 5-1 win over Bull Bay in the Kassafa Ray and Nephew Major League on Sunday. Travis Bennett, Yashani Swaby and Bejong Jones were the other scorers for Police. In other fixtures, Corville Gardens, they beat Ligany by a goal to nil. Maxfield Parks topped the Red Hills by 3-1. Seaview Gardens beat Pembroke Hall 2-1. And Almond Woodford, they played out a 1-1 draw with the team from Rockfort. And champions Fraser's Whip are the only team to have not yet dropped a point so far in this season's Jamaica Women's Premier League. After 5 rounds, Fraser's Whip are on 15 points following their 6-0 win over Federal United at the weekend. Davy Richards, Latoya Duhaney and Denishka Ratri were the scorers for the champions. They're followed by Cavalier on 13 points, while Los Perfectas, they sit third with 9 points. Arnett Gardens, Wi-Fi United and UWI Women are all in 7. Real Bay and Federal have 3 apiece. Malgully and Proven Girls, they're struggling with 2 points, while Springer United sit at the foot of the table and they are just on 1 point. And finally, in sports at this time, some tennis news. Czech teenager Jakub Mensik beat the childhood idol Novak Djokovic to win the Miami Open tennis tournament, having come close to withdrawing with a knee injury hours before his first round game.
1 hour before my first match in here, I was holding the paper of pulling out from the tournament because my knee was hurting a lot. I was just lucky then the referee was having lunch. So then for the last time I came for the treatment. He did a miracle, and because of him I step on the court, and because of him I'm standing here. So thank you, big special thanks for him, and thank you guys for everything. Thanks.
Jakub Mensik, 19-year-old Mensik, dropped just 2 sets on his run to the final, which included victories over the British number 1, Jack Draper, and Fort C. Taylor Fritz. He clinched the first ATP Tour title with a 7-6, 7-6 win over Serb Djokovic. Djokovic, a 24-time Grand Slam champ, had been bidding to become just the 3rd man in the Open era to win 100 singles titles. However, the 37-year-old's wait will go on after his loss to Mensik, who was just 10 months old when Djokovic won his first title back in 2006. And Mensik is the 9th youngest Masters 1000 champ and the 2nd youngest in Miami after Carlos Alcaraz from Spain. And that will do it for sports. We're going to be back with much more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
What is the
For more
on TV?
information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here ya,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently? But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor to go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deepfake?
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
Since 1995, we've been your go-to source for everything related to billiards, amusement machines, and electronics. With locations at 1A Lindsay Terrace, Kingston 10, and the Village Plaza, Big Bridge, Savannah, Lamar, we offer top-quality pool table parts and accessories, cutting-edge gaming machines, and more. We also specialize in assembly, sales, and service of amusement machines. We provide unmatched customer service, expert solutions, and products tailored to your needs. Who are we? We are Eclipse Enterprise. Telephone 876-960-3891.
Enough power tool, big to small. Jackama figure dig the wall.
Our Total Tools.
Lead walker figure trim the lawn. We have everything your job demand.
Total Tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When you say home improvement, landscape construction, or Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option. Total Tools located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slibe Road, Kingston. And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
Digicel, live life your way, no free what? Digicel postpaid. With Digicel postpaid, it's all about you. Sign up or pay your bills to stay active for a chance to win a luxurious all-expense paid trip for two to Royalton, Antigua. With round-trip flights on us, every week you could win exciting prizes. Event tickets, gym memberships, spa packages, excursion adventures, restaurant vouchers, and more. When you opt in on the My Digicel app, life your way starts now with Digicel. Better connected.
Promotion ends March 31. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Deposit we have insurance. It's an account that come with assurance. Let me teach you why it's important to have deposit insurance. Just in case your bank crash dead, no need to put your hands by your head. Up to 1.2 million you get for all accounts that's affected. Yeah, one room you can start it, or throw a house party. Pay your mortgage with ease. JDIC is a smart win. Deposits we bring safety. JDIC them protect me. Bank and billing society protected. The flow you must get with. Protect your savings smart. We urging you to call me. Guarantee you need us. We take banking serious.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multilink, access every time, everywhere I go. Multilink, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multilink. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multilink, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, Cliff. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
How you do?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good.
Well, first of all, let me tell the listeners, just before coming on air, we got news that the father of Usain Bolt, Wellesley Bolt, has died. We're going to have more on that just before we end our cover story, but that's what we have confirmed by our sports editor, that Usain Bolt's father, Wellesley, has died. We'll have more on that a little later.
This afternoon on the cover story, that vexed issue of Portmore becoming a parish. The opposition leader Mark Golding, he's declaring victory following the decision by the Supreme Court to lift the temporary injunction which blocked the government from proceeding with a push to make Portmore the 15th parish. The court's ruling was handed down last Friday.
Golding responded to the development on Sunday while speaking at a PNP candidate presentation meeting for Stacey Knight in Northeast St. Andrew.
We had a victory in court just 2 or 3 days ago. Not clear how them want to spin it. They brought this piece of legislation to Parliament. They didn't consult with the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, but they put in place legislation to establish a new parish in Portmore, which was going to reconfigure the electoral boundaries in several constituencies and divisions and polling divisions. It was a gerrymandering exercise designed to give them a better chance because they know the beating they're going to get in Portmore when the election comes.
The PMP had filed a lawsuit earlier this month as part of its attempt to prevent the government from proceeding with efforts to make the municipality the newest parish. But the ruling JLP and the Attorney General are claiming the court's ruling last Friday as a victory for the government. But Mr. Golding disagrees. He says the court has acted to uphold respect for the Constitution.
The court, first of all, issued an injunction till the matter was heard. And then when the matter was heard, required them to give an unconditional undertaking that they would not bring that law into force until the Constitution's requirements in relation to the setting and reconfiguring of electoral boundaries had been fully complied with. And that is a great victory for the rule of law. That is a great victory for the Constitution. And that is a great victory for Jamaica because of the diligence and the seriousness of purpose of the People's National Party. And it's not done yet because the matter is still in court. Because the whole issue of the constitutionality of that legislation is going to be tested when the matter is finally heard. But in the meantime, the undertaking is in place. Jamaica is safe. No gerrymandering business around here. We none of that.
Mark Golding, the opposition leader. Well, to discuss further, we're being joined by the Member of Parliament for St. Catharines Southern, Fitz Jackson, and Chairman of the Joint Select Committee of Parliament, which was tasked with establishing the framework for Jamaica's first post-colonial parish, Dr. Andrew Wheatley. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ricardo. Good afternoon, all.
I was just reflecting with my producer, Fitz and Andrew, if I may. How many times have we had iterations of this? Fitz Jackson versus Andrew Wheatley.
Quite a number of times, but I believe it works out for the listening public. We get a better understanding of the truth of the matter, that Fitz and the PMP are all about propaganda and gimmickry rather than substance.
Wow. Fitz?
You know, Andrew doesn't believe most of the things he says.
You sound like a leader. Talking, just listen to what he was saying yesterday.
The substance of the matter, gentlemen. Everything that Mr. Golding said in that clip you carried was absolutely correct. And I'll start with the whole question of the injunction and lifting of injunction. There was no lifting of any injunction. To begin with, the week before when the court met, it gave an interim injunction to stop the legislation where it was until the AG, representing the minister and the government, could make their own submissions by affidavits of support. And that injunction, interim, note the word interim, until when the court meets again, and the court met again on Friday. The interim injunction expired up on the court's meeting on Friday. So there was no injunction to lift because it expired. Upon meeting on Friday to consider the matter before it, with the submissions from the government side and against the submissions that the opposition claimants made, the court required and established through an order that the government will proceed no further with the act as it did when it imposed the interim injunction. It issued an order on an unequivocal undertaking by the government that it will not bring the act into force until it complies with the provisions of Section 67 of the Constitution. That is what is the court order. So the JLP can spin all they want to spin. At the end of the day, the ruling from the court on Friday is that unconditionally, unequivocally, that the government must go no further until it complies with the Constitution, which is what we asked the court to act on. We never asked the court, through our submission, to determine whether or not a parish should be established or the merits or non-merit of it. We went to the court on straight legal points.
Okay,
and the court ruled in our favor.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
End of that.
Help me understand something now. So, having passed the law, both houses, signed by the Governor General, before the ECJ can determine boundaries, the boundaries, constituency boundaries, doesn't a parish have to exist?
No. Well, the ECJ has established new constituency boundaries for over so many years within the context of existing boundaries. The point I'm making, the existence of a boundary is not a prerequisite for them to propose new boundaries and do all the technical works required. That is what is done routinely. So what the government should have done, if it takes the decision that it wants to create a parish, is to make a request of the EOJ to propose constituency boundaries in keeping with that intention that it has. Because the constituency boundary, the boundaries that the government proposed, as the ECJ said, immediately contribute with the Constitution should it come in effect. And it warned the government from as early as June last year.
By letter right. So
and when they went ahead, having ignored the ECJ, and went ahead and passed the legislation that would effectively do what it warned them of.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, Mr. Jackson. Let me just get this really clear. So having passed the law declaring the parish, let's say the minister brought the law into force and said Portmore is now a parish. The power to declare the constituency boundaries, that power of the ECJ would not have been disturbed by that declaration, would it?
No. And that's the reason why they went to the ECJ, wrote back to them. But bear in mind.
So hold on, because I think this is important. So no, that doesn't mean, that's why I want to get it right. So having declared the parish, the next step in the process would be now for the ECJ to come in and say to the government, you've declared a parish, you've proposed boundaries, we do not think these boundaries are appropriate, proper, and we now propose this. The government would have to comply with that. Under law.
You are very correct.
And so hold on, hold on. And so if I'm very correct, what exactly are you concerned about then?
Because what is clear, and I'll share something with you, some new evidence which have come to light just this afternoon to reinforce my point. You can't put the cart before the horse, right? The proposed boundary by the government would contravene the Constitution, and there's a process for establishing constituency boundary. So at best what the government could do is intimate what is the proposed boundary that they wish for this new parish.
Which they have done.
Even before it comes into law. If you look at legislation, there are many legislation that require some things to be in place. And those are written in the legislation. Condition and ABC.
Hold it there for us, Fitz. And after the break, Dr. Wheatley will bring you in.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
5:45.
Crispy, crunchy, tantalizing fried chicken only at Bird Shack. Satisfy your hunger today. The temperature brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ocho is...
It's 29 degrees Celsius here in the capital, Kingston, 26 out west in Montego Bay.
Win with love. Use your JMMB Money Transfer Prepaid Visa Card from October 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025 for a chance to win your share of a $2.1 million grand prize, plus a $100,000 university cash grant and cash back from paying tolls and shopping with your card. Receive money 24/7 in minute with Visa Direct via MoneyGram, Zoom, Remitly, or directly through RIA and Zoom. Visit jm.jmmb.com/money-transfer for full details on how to enter and win with love. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
Attention motorists, it's time to switch to the T-Tag on Transjam highways. Vehicles using the automated T-Tag lane are processed in seconds, so you can pass through the toll plazas far quicker. The T-Tag makes it quicker, more cost-efficient, and safer for our customers. So switch to the T-Tag today and experience the convenience. T-Tag packages are discounted to only $1,500, including a $500 toll credit from now until March 31st.
13 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. We are dealing with the political tussle over efforts to make Portmore the 15th parish, given the court's ruling on Friday it was.
Yes, last Friday.
That the whole process will proceed after the steps are followed as laid down in the law, and the government saying yes. We have with us the man who has been leading the PNP's effort on this, the MP for South St. Catherine, Fitz Jackson, and for the governing Jamaica Labour Party, Dr. Andrew Wheatley. Your time, Dr. Wheatley. Mr. Jackson had a full run. Your time.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Cliff, Ricardo. You know, I listened intently to the clip you played earlier from the leader of the opposition, Mark Golden. And I must start by saying that I'm very disappointed. He, being an attorney, would have a different interpretation of the term listing of an injunction. What really happened was that the court recognized that the PNP argument lacked merit. And basically it was just political gimmickry. And you see, he was on the stage riling up the crowd. But, you know, and Fitz came on as well trying to spread that propaganda. Now, let me just put everything into context, right? At all material times, the government maintained that we were following the provision of the Constitution to create the parish. That is lies within the remit of the Parliament of Jamaica. And that is what we did. The PNP came with an argument that it was unconstitutional, the process of establishing the parish of Portmore, the 15th parish. The court ruled that their arguments did not have any merit to it. That is what it is. Now, the legislation, Fitz spoke about the ECJ and the remit of the ECJ. But the truth is that the ECJ cannot act without the legislation which was passed. It is the responsibility of the Parliament to establish parity, and thereafter, the ECJ ensures that the constitutionality as relates to constituencies being in one particular parish. That is now the remit of the ECJ. So they now have the impetus now to define the boundaries of the constituencies within Portmore. Right? So the argument that we keep putting out there is a nonsensical one, and it is just pure politicking. They are just obstructionists, for want of a better word.
Dr. Wheatley, the letter that was sent to the Parliament, signed by the Commissioner of the ECJ, that raised concerns about the constitutionality of the legislation. You all had that letter before final passage in both houses of the Parliament, yes?
Well, I am not aware of that letter, but what I am aware of was that the ECJ...
So, hold on. Hold on. So the Speaker, who I believe it was addressed to, President of the Senate, and I believe was also addressed to the Clerk to the Houses, did not share that letter with all legislators?
I am saying that I was not aware. Nonetheless.
I can answer that.
May I finish my point, please? Nonetheless, I saw where excerpts of a letter was posted, where the ECJ pointed out to some polling stations, polling divisions being left out. And again, it was clear that there was not a clear understanding because they made reference to a number of PDs in my own constituency of South Central St. Catherine that would now be a part of the parish of Portmore. For example, PD 58, which is in Horizon Park, near to Old Harbour Road. So again, there was some misunderstanding of the boundary itself. That is proposed to be the boundary for the parish of Portmore. For example, in my constituency, only one PD would be materially affected, and that is PD 86 in the Crossroad area. Right? So, again, I am saying that the ECJ now is empowered to establish the boundary for the constituencies that will fall within the parish of Portmore. We have maintained throughout the whole process that we are going according to the Constitution. We are not here to abridge the rights of any individual. What we are ensuring is that the people of Portmore, who gave us the mandate to establish Portmore, Jamaica's 15 parish, that we as a government, as a party, we are sticking to that commitment that we gave in 2020. A commitment that I must say started under the PNP administration some time ago, around 2002, when they moved to establish the municipality of Portmore in 2003, May 2003, then called the election June 2003.
So you will accept the boundaries, whatever boundaries are proposed by the ECJ?
The boundaries for the constituency, not the boundaries for the parish.
Yes, for the constituency.
That is the responsibility of the Parliament, and that was done by the Parliament. As it relates to the boundaries for constituencies, that is now within the remit of the ECJ.
And you will accept the boundaries proposed by them?
It is the convention that we accept the boundaries.
So, Mr. Jackson, if the government is giving that undertaking, isn't this much ado about nothing? You've claimed gerrymandering.
Yes. You know the reason why? Have you forgot what Mr. Warmington said?
You're speaking to me,
No,
I heard Mr. Warmington's comment, yes.
Mr. Warmington tell us in 2023.
Yes, but
the constituency boundaries and the proposed municipality boundary, new municipality boundary proposed in 2010, that they reject those boundaries proposals from the ECJ. And they are going to create their own boundaries as he indicated.
That is not true, Fitz. That is not true. What Mr. Warmington said was that Orlando Terrelang will be...
Hold on, Dr. Wheatley. Let him finish.
Performance.
Let him finish, Dr. Wheatley.
He was speaking at a constituency conference in East Central.
Let him finish, Dr. Wheatley.
Andrew is very uncomfortable with the truth, you know. And I can give you the recording of Mr. Warmington so you can hear it for yourself. He said he rejected those boundaries from the ECJ, and now they are going to have the boundaries that they wanted all along. And those boundaries that he said they wanted all along is exactly the boundaries that is put in the legislation. That's where the gerrymandering comes in. Those boundaries were not established.
But aren't the boundaries in the legislation parish boundaries?
Parish boundary which ipso facto establish new constituency boundary.
What are you saying? That we are establishing new constituency boundaries? Isn't that the remit of it?
Right, that's what I'm trying to understand, Mr. Jackson, because wouldn't the ECJ now have to establish the constituency boundaries?
No, please, gentlemen, take it easy. In 2010, there was a new Portmore municipality boundary proposed, right? The Jamaica Labour Party said that they don't want that boundary for the Portmore municipality because it's not favorable to them. And Mr. Warmington said they're going to...
Propaganda, Fitz, propaganda. More propaganda.
Mr. Warmington said, and Cliff, you heard the tape already by Mr. Warmington. So you can correct Mr. Wheatley on this.
No, I don't. No, don't mix me up.
No, I will send it to you both.
Yes, please send it to our producer. But we're actually out of time because another matter is developing. But gentlemen, I suspect we'll continue to have this conversation.
Fitz, I do not want you to get a heart attack. Relax, Fitz, relax.
Fitz Jackson, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Good. 5 minutes going up to 6, and we're being joined by our news editor, Wayne Walker.
Sports editor.
What did I say?
But sports is news.
Sports editor.
Yes. Don't worry about it. I know this come up
tell us, Wellesley Bolt passed
this morning.
This morning, what happened?
And of course, you know, Wellesley Bolt is Usain's the father of the megastar track and field megastar Usain Bolt. Yeah, so just speaking with Norman Peart just now. So he confirmed that they call him Gideon. Wellesley passed away this morning. He's been ailing for some time.
Oh.
Yeah. And the last time I personally saw him, he had suffered a stroke, and Usain had gotten a motor vehicle and retrofitted it to suit the fact that he has to be in and out by the wheelchair or something like that. And so he did. A lot of people didn't know he was ailing, and he unfortunately passed away on Saturday. Norman was saying...
Saturday?
I'm sorry, this morning. Oh. Saturday came in my mind because Norman was saying he spoke with them last on Saturday while he was at the championships in Kingston. Of course, Norman is a former manager of Bolt, but he's also close to the father and the mother, because whenever you see with Leslie and Jennifer, his wife and Bolt's mother, at the major championships around the world, Norman is a person who would normally take care of it, the tickets and the accommodation and the movements in and around the cities where they are. So he's been very, very, very close to them. And as he said, he spoke with them on Saturday. But it's unfortunate. I mean, like any death is, but this hits.
How old was he?
68.
68,
right. And Cliff, I count myself as a personal friend of the family to a point where whenever I'm in Trelawney, if I don't stop by the house, I am in trouble. I remember in 2015, with a massive build-up to the Usain against Justin race in Beijing, China, we happened to be staying at the same hotel in the city. And the mother and the father, I think they were on the 9th floor, and they just got mobile phones and Wi-Fi and all of that. But in China, you have to have a VPN to get the outside internet, and so they didn't know how to do it. So every night, when I get back to the hotel, we have to go up to the 9th floor and try to sort things out for them. Yeah. And I remember the rivalry with Bolt and Justin was so intense. Justin's parents were staying at the same hotel, and one morning we were in the lobby, and Leslie and Jennifer came down. And every morning they come down. And the morning when I found out that the two people who were sitting close to them were Justin's parents, they didn't know either. And I called them over the morning. It was about 2 days before the preliminary of the 100. And I said to them, those are Justin's parents, And Wellesley got up from his breakfast and said, really? And he went over there, greeted them. Cliff, the tension in Beijing that year was so thick, you thought they would fight. When they come down in the lobby in the morning. Yeah. And so you run into them at the different meets, the different stops and so on. Really, really great people. They were just happy to have a son who could afford them the opportunity to travel the world. Outside of the fact that they were proud of him because of what he was doing to the opponents. He was really cleaning the street to them and so on. So yeah, and when I was working elsewhere, Bolt would come on my show a lot, because I traveled with him a lot in his heyday. And so what Wellesley would do is watch the show, and the next morning, he would get on the phone. Boy, Wayne, I see you try to destroy the boy, man, but he'll kill you. Because we were always talking football, and he's a Manchester United fan. Yes. So as I say, I call myself as a really good family friend. So when I heard this afternoon, I was really taken aback. I really was, because I didn't know it happened this morning. I didn't know. Yeah. But let's see.
Thank you for that perspective, Wayne.
Not a problem, man.
Wellesley Bolt dead.
Yes, 68, yes.
Thank you.
Our condolences to the Bolt family.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
That's a cover story. We're going to make way now for the headlines at 6.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Nora Gay Banton. The Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, says internet banking fraud has gone up by nearly 900% since 2020. The central bank's latest financial stability report for 2024 has identified internet fraud and cyber risks as two of the most significant emerging threats to the country's banking sector. The report was posted on the BOJ's website on Monday. Cybercrimes have been on the rise across the world due to the significant expansion of online banking sparked by the COVID-19 pandemic. Jamaica has seen a similar expansion. According to the Bank of Jamaica, internet banking fraud has increased due to a shift towards electronic methods for transacting business. It says between 2020 and 2023, the country saw an 890% increase in internet banking fraud. That's an increase in excess of $330 million compared to 2019 and the years prior. The central bank also noted an uptick in physical robberies involving currency management and cash-in-transit service providers and their impact on deposit-taking institutions, DTIs. However, the central bank says this represented a smaller portion of the monetary value of criminal-related losses to financial institutions and their customers. Deputy General Secretary of the JLP, Senator Charles Sinclair, says PNP President Mark Golding still has questions to answer about the status of his citizenship. Senator Sinclair was speaking at a JLP workers' conference in Central St. James on Sunday.
On the other side, you have a man who don't know whether he's a Jamaican or he's a British. He said he was going to go revoke or renounce his British citizenship. And we still want to see the certificate of renunciation. And I know him can't produce it. Him go on one little blogger site on social media and hold up a paper that nobody can see. He said, this is my certificate.
Golding announced he had renounced his British citizenship last September following public pressure surrounding the issue. But the JLP has maintained that Jamaicans should see the proof of that renunciation. In a bid to put the matter to rest, Golding, who was a guest on an online show, showed what he said was the document proving he's no longer a dual citizen. Senator Sinclair is questioning why Mr. Golding did not present the evidence during his budget presentation in Parliament.
He had the perfect stage to present to Jamaica the renunciation certificate. And him talking at the budget, where every Jamaican watching the budget presentations, listening to the presentations of the presenters during the budget. I was under the belief that him would have hold up the certificate of renunciation in Parliament and say, see the renunciation here, I am committed to Jamaica. He couldn't do that. So to take yourself and go on a vlogger site and go hold up one paper that we can't see, we can't question it, we can't put no question to you. I am asking Jamaica today and the people of Central St. James, can you trust that man?
Senator Charles Sinclair, Deputy General Secretary of the JLP. Meanwhile, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, says she renounced her U.S. citizenship to serve the Jamaican people. Mrs. Williams made the disclosure during an interview with Nationwide's Ricardo Brooks at the Jamaica Labour Party's Area Council 1 on Sunday.
Maybe a lot of people don't know this, but I did give up my U.S. citizenship to enter politics in Jamaica. So all the conversations about dual citizenship and all of that, it's personal to me as well.
Her revelation comes amid growing public scrutiny of parliamentarians who hold dual citizenship. In 2024, amid mounting pressure, Opposition Leader Mark Golding, Opposition Spokesperson on Finance Julian Robinson, and Minister with Responsibility for Water Matthew Samuda renounced their foreign citizenships. Mrs. Williams reaffirmed her commitment to fully serving the Jamaican people.
I wanted to indicate to the people of Jamaica that we're all in. I am all in. Prime Minister is all in. We have no other place to go. I want the Jamaicans to know that we are here for them and we wake up every day to do the best that we can by them.
Favour Williams, Minister of Finance and the Public Service. Mayor of Mandeville and People's National Party aspirant for Manchester Central, Donovan Mitchell, has criticized Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness over announcements he made in Manchester on the weekend. During his address at the Manchester Chamber of Commerce's awards banquet on Saturday, Dr. Holness said that municipal corporations will be first on the streamlining process for efficiency and economic development speed program. However, speaking at the Royal Flat Divisional Conference on Sunday, Mayor Mitchell accused the Prime Minister of being misleading in his reference to municipal authorities. Mitchell pointed to the efficiency of the Manchester Municipal Corporation. Meanwhile, Mayor Mitchell also criticized Dr. Holness for announcing a plan for the redevelopment and renaming of Brooks Park in Mandeville. Mitchell says the focus should be on the upgrading of the Mandeville market.
I hear them talking about park in Mandeville. S.E. Brooks, whether I'm a labor writer, PNP and no P, left Brooks Park for the people of Manchester and no Andrew Holness. None of them cannot come here and remove what is here. You have to go somewhere else. If you really want to do something for Manchester and for Mandeville, you will tell Desmond Mackenzie, me Donovan said, the plans we had for the Mandeville market that he has thrown away, I'll put it in a shelf, I'll put it in file 13, take it up, dig it up, and make we talk about Mandeville town.
Donovan Mitchell, Mayor of Mandeville. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
At Active Home Center, we've got everything you need to create that perfect spa retreat. From comfort height toilets to the widest selection in faucets and shower enclosures to stylish tubs and the latest trends in bathroom cabinets in various sizes. Our bathroom collection has the perfect fit for every space and every budget. Your relaxing retreat starts here. Visit our showroom in Kingston at 84 Compton Spring Road or Montego Bay at Barnett Tech Park. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
I pursue opportunities.
I prepare for opportunities.
I plan for opportunities.
With Sagicor e-Invest, you can prepare, plan for and pursue IPO opportunities. Browse IPOs, review IPO details and prospectuses. Select and apply for a featured IPO.
IPO.
With Sagicor e-Invest. Think wealth. Visit sagicor.com.
When sunshine is the best for you, nature's best buns are crunchy. The flavor that sings to you, salted banana and plantain. Taste the freshness, naturally sweet. The flavor that sings to you.
Dale, nature's best bunch.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. With Leslie Bolt, the father of track and field megastar Usain Bolt, has died. The elder Bolt passed away on Monday morning after ailing for some time. He was 68 years old. Well, Leslie, along with his wife, now widow Jennifer, followed their son around at the Global Championships as a key part of his support system. The cause of death has not yet been made clear. We'll definitely have more on the story in subsequent sportscasts. 4 more Jamaicans, including former Olympic and world champion Omar McLeod, have been added to the list of inaugural staging of the Grand Slam track. McLeod, who won the 110-meter hurdles gold at the 2015 World Championships in Beijing and Olympic gold in Rio de Janeiro a year later, comes in for 2020 Olympic champ Hansa Parchment, who is scratched from the event. Jodine Williams, who reached the women's 60 meters final at the World Indoors in Nanjing, China last week, has also been added to the lineup along with Asini Wilson and Zandrian Barnes. The 2019 100 meters hurdles champion Nia Ali has also been added to the star-studded cast at the 3-day meet Friday, Saturday and Sunday at the National Stadium. Other top names to have scratched from the meet are Favor Ali and the young American star Quincy Hall. Global medalists Letsile Tebogo, Kishane Thompson, and Akini Simbini will renew their sprint rivalry when the Wonder Diamond League heads to Shanghai on May 3. Botswana's Tebogo added Olympic 200 meters gold in Paris last year to his 100 meters and 200 meters silver from Budapest in 2023. Tebogo finished the 6th in the 100 meters final in Paris, a race in which Jamaica's Thompson secured silver. Simbini finished 4th on that occasion, but the South African sprinted to the first global individual medal of his career at the recent World Indoors in Nanjing. They'll be joined in the 100 meters in Shanghai by the Tokyo Olympic champion, Italy's Marcel Jacob, Great Britain's World Indoor 60 meters champion, Jeremiah Asu, the USA's 2019 World 100 meters champion, Christian Coleman, and local favorite, Ji Zhenye. Chapelton Maroons and Waterhouse are still 0-0 in the second half, just about 50 minutes gone in the game. In the Rare Nephew Jamaica Premier League encounter at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex, Chapelton Maroons will aim to move further away from the drop zone, where a victory would move them to 10th, while Waterhouse is still vying for a playoff spot. A win for the former champions will push them up to 47 points and up to the crucial 6th playoff spot. In the second game of the doubleheader at 7:45 this evening, second place Arnett Gardens will look to cut Mount Pleasant's lead atop the standings to a single point. A win for Arnett will push them up to 68, one behind Mount Pleasant, who are on 69. Yesterday, Mount Pleasant dropped points in the league for only the second time at home. They were held goalless by Tivoli Gardens. Harbourview, they clipped Dunby Holden by 1-0. Mobay United, they missed a chance to go sole second place when they were held goalless by Portmore United, and Racing beat Vere 2-0 to strengthen their chances of getting into the playoff. Champions Fraser's Whip are the only team to have yet drop a point at the season in the Jamaica Women's Premier League after 5 rounds. Fraser's Whip, they are 15 points, which means they've won all their games following the 6-0 win over Federal United at the weekend. Davia Richards, Latoya Duhaney, and Danishka Ratri were the goal scorers for the champions. They are followed by Cavalier on 13 points. Los Perfectos, their third on 9. Arnett Gardens, Wi-Fi United, and UWI Women are all in 7 points apiece, and the Real Mobe and Federal, they have 3 points each. Mile Gully and Proven Girls are struggling with 2 points, while Springer United, they sit at the foot of the 11th table with just a point. Fans of regional cricket are still digesting news that there's leadership a shake-up in 2 of the regional team. Jamaica's Rovman Powell has been stripped of the T20 captaincy, and Craig Brathwaite has stepped down as captain of the Test team. Shea Hope, who is already the ODI captain, takes over from Powell, while Brathwaite's replacement is expected to be named in a few weeks. Hope was appointed T20 captain on the advice from Darren Sammy, who is coach of the West Indies in all formats of the men's game. Hope's first games in charge of the T20 squad will come in June, when West Indies takes on England and Ireland in a total of 6 T20 games. Powell had been in charge of the T20 team from 2023 and had victories against India, South Africa, and England all at home. In the meantime, President of Cricket West Indies, Dr. Kishore Shallow, says Brathwaite's decision to step down as captain of the Test team did not come as a surprise to the board. Dr. Shallow says Brathwaite informed him of his intentions earlier in the year.
During the Pakistan tour, after the first match, Craig actually reached out to me as president, suggesting that he was going to announce his resignation pretty much on that tour. This was before the second match, second test. And so I told him it may not be the most opportune time to announce. And he explained to me the reasons why he wanted to move on from captaincy then. Explained it's a case where he enjoys the responsibility, but he believes he could give the team more if he just focused on his batting. And I managed to convince him not to announce his resignation at that particular point.
Brathwaite replaced another Bajan, Jason Holder, as captain during the pandemic, and on his watch, the West Indies won or drew 9 of 16 series. They beat England at home in 2022 and won in Australia for the first time in 27 years in Brisbane in 2024. In his last game as captain in January, West Indies ended a 34-year drought in Pakistan. Brathwaite has so far played 98 test matches. President of World Boxing Boris van der Vost. President, of course, is in Jamaica for a 5-day visit to see firsthand Jamaica's boxing and to determine how the world body can assist with taking the sport to another level locally, internationally, and of course regionally. His visit will conclude on Wednesday. Van der Vost expects Jamaica's boxing to grow and develop new world champions under his leadership.
The president of the Jamaican Boxing Federation, Mr. Bomber, is a great friend of mine. He's a true supporter from the beginning for world boxing. And Jamaica is one of the pillars of world boxing. And they were part of the inaugural Congress in 2023. And afterwards, the Jamaican Boxing Federation was also one of the leaders from the Caribbean region. And together we hope to develop the boxing region. And that's also why I'm here to discuss the collaboration and how we can move forward. And after the recognition and re-inclusion for boxing in the LA program, I think that offers great opportunities for Jamaican boxing.
And President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, Chris Samuda, says having an international sports president come to Jamaica is encouraged by his organization.
Well, the Jamaica Olympic Association has always indicated to our members that one of our strategic goals is to transform Jamaica into a mecca not only of sport in performance, but also for IF presidents to be paying visits and looking at our administration and our operation. So this is part of the outgrowth of our foreign policy to ensure that international presidents come here, are acquainted with our infrastructure sport, and then we can have a dialogue that will be beneficial to the Olympic movement.
GOA President Chris Samuda. Czech teenager Jakub Mensik beat childhood idol Novak Djokovic to win the Miami Open, having come close to withdrawing with a knee injury hours before his first round game.
1 hour before my first match in here, I was holding the paper of pulling out from the tournament because my knee was hurting a lot. I was just lucky then the referee was having lunch. So then for the last time I came for the treatment. He did a miracle, and because of him I step on the court, and because of him I'm standing here. So thank you, big special thanks for him, and thank you guys for everything. Thanks.
Jakub Mensik, the 19-year-old Mensik, dropped just 2 sets on his run to the final, which included victories over the British number 1 Jack Draper and 4th seed Taylor Fritz. He clinched the first ATP Tour title with a 7-6 win over Serbia's Djokovic. Djokovic, a 24-time Grand Slam champ, had been bidding to become just the third man in the Open era to win 100 singles titles. However, the 37-year-old's wait to go on after his loss to Mensik, who was just 10 months old when Djokovic won his first title in 2006. Mensik is the 9th youngest Masters of 1000 champion and the 2nd youngest in Miami after the Spaniard Carlos Alcaraz. Finally, in sports at this time, 5 players and 2 coaches were ejected following a brawl during the Minnesota Timberwolves' 123-104 victory against the Detroit Pistons in the NBA on Sunday. The highly charged contest in Minneapolis broke into a physical altercation early in the second quarter when Minnesota's Naz Reid reacted to being bumped by Detroit's Ron Holland during a dribble. As the 2 players squared up to one another, members of both teams got involved, and the exchange quickly descended into a melee which spilled into the spectator seats at courtside. Team officials attempted to break up the players as some spectators deserted their seats. Even after the fight was broken up, tensions remained high as players from both teams continued verbal attacks. Officials decided to remove 5 players, Isaiah Stewart, Holland, and Marcus Sasser from Detroit, and Reed and Dante DiVincenzo from Minnesota, as well as Detroit head coach John Blair Bickerstaff and Timberwolves assistant coach Pablo Prigioni. In all the games from Sunday, Golden State, they beat San Antonio 148-106. Minnesota turned back Detroit 123-104. Atlanta, they stopped Milwaukee 145-124, and Houston beat Phoenix 148-109. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
29 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 26 in the western city, Montego Bay.
March into savings with ATL's March Madness sale. Get up to 50% off select appliances, electronics, and hard-to-find parts all month long. Upgrade your home and business with everything you need at unbeatable prices and best quality brands. Shop in store at Kingston, Ocho Rios, and Montego Bay. Or beat the traffic and buy online at atljamaica.com and get aisle and wider delivery. ATL, the best brands and the best service. Sale ends March 31. While stocks last, conditions apply.
My Mega
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. It's a wonderful Monday evening, a special one to our friends on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know we like to hear from you, so we ask you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. And today's Public Opinion is one that affects us all, yeah? Young, old, indifferent, and in between. Murders have seen a 35% decline since the start of the year. As at March 29, 181 people have been killed. This is 96 fewer homicides when compared to the corresponding period in 2024. And also to add that all other major crimes, including rape, robbery, and break-ins, have also declined. So in Public Opinion this evening, we're asking, the police say that the major crimes are declining. Do you feel safer in your community? I'll start with the comments on our Facebook platform where Jermaine Donovan is saying progress is being made, but the culture of gangs, criminality, and violence still prevails. Smiley Lindburn saying yes, but have to be looking still because the criminals are on the run. For Philip Jackson, he says he's in the U.S. and based on all the evidence of those conversations, especially the last one with the Secretary of State, I'm staying here and is feeling the safety breeze. Wow, which is drawing me for a visit. All right. Come back home, Philip Jackson, come for a visit. Audrey Smith says, yes, I honestly feel safer. Richardo Kilowatt has a different view. He says, no, actually my reason is because wow. That one here sound personal. Dated a police who filled me in on various details, including the one related to, wow, Richardo. This one I can't really touch. Yeah, this one is sounds very personal and like you can't get me in a problem. All right, Shins for Life Law says, even before the decline in crime, where I live was always safe, apart from maybe ghost and some stray dogs that make noise in the night. That's good, Shins for Life Law. Anthony Sheikh says, yes, but still keeping my guard up. Very well so. Wesley Cunningham says, yes, I pray it will continue. Salome Paul says the troubled hotspots in Jamaica give the impression the entire country is riddled with crime. Not true. There are a lot of communities that are not plagued by this monster and residents go about their daily business without fear. For David Batik, he must say decline my foot. And he believes that the numbers have been tampered with. Edney Powell saying, yes, I feel safe, but criminality will not go away in 1 month or even 1 year at least. He's saying we see where the country is heading towards safety. For Eunice Anderson, she feels safe, yeah. And Natalie Winter says, yes, but much more can be done. Indeed, the question we're asking, do you feel safe in your community based on the police saying that major crimes are on the decline? Do you feel safe? A 35% decline since the start of the year 2025. We're asking if we don't feel safe. If we don't feel the safeness that's happening. All right. Boss Lady on Instagram saying, certainly I feel safer in and around my community. Titch Sharno saying that we've seen 2 years now of crime incrementally going down, which I think is enough to say that there's a positive trend there. Why don't people perceive it that way? Yeah? Different views, different opinions. Robert Gregory Lewis says yes, to a certain extent. To a certain extent, Robert says he feels safe. Let's get to the comments now on our YouTube platform. 100 say yes, safer, and if we change course, we're going to go right back to the depths. All right. Ken Youth Mulling says yes, I'm feeling much safer. For J Ham, he's saying that work in progress. Jacqueline Thomas says right now, I'm not leaving my two things on my... Wow. Okay, Jacqueline, I see you. I see you, Jacqueline. David Nabar says, yes, I feel safe. Kenyut Mulling saying, yes, I feel safer. Also, to Maureen McKenzie saying she feels safe in her community. Silly Billy Wallace saying, yes, I feel safe whenever I'm in Jamaica. For Sharon Forbes, Sharon saying that... Sharon, you're responding to Jacqueline, and I see Jacqueline's comment there. Edwin Douglas says, yes, I feel safe. Let them meet their maker. Don't stop the prosperity. CJ Martinez, that should be saying, I don't feel safe in Jamaica one bit. I can't wait to go back to Canada. Montego Bay, not safe. All right. Sandra Murray says, yes, a lot safer. We're not going back. And CJ Martinez, we welcome the differing views because your view may not one, two, three person can have the same view. But when we see differing views, we welcome them because it is indeed public opinion. Do you feel safe? Hugh is saying, yes, I feel safe nowadays. Errol Murray says, not really. One still have to be careful. For George Alwood, he's saying that it's moving in the right direction. Yeah? All right, let me see if I can get in a few more. 100 say for the first, me hang my clothes pan line and come back and see all of them. Whoa, that not safe. People are take off your clothes off a line. Whoa, that not safe. All right, Venice Keating says, right direction. Jamaican for Life says, yes, I feel safe. Let me see if I can get in some more. Owen is also saying that he feels safe. YR says, I'm feeling much safer right now. I'm not going to be ungrateful to the security minister and the hard-working police. Yeah? Clash Camp is saying, still can't sleep with our doors and windows open since 2016. Yeah? All right, let me see if I can get in some more. Right here, Cleon Spence says, safer, of course. Start Girl saying, I feel safe in my community. Let me see if I can get in some more. On a feel, I'm still watching the head back, but despite everything, in all honesty, I'm still watching the head back. Can't let it careless. Philip Jackson, blessings to you. For Pauline Taylor says, yes, I feel very safe. G. Paul Mack, I feel safe. I sleep with my windows and doors open. G. Paul? All right. I mean, even if me feel safe, me not left myself careless in a sense. Me not left the head back out the door. Me I cover it. Yeah? But I know what you're getting at with the windows and the doors being left open. We know. Stronglink says, not totally, but better. Better. David Nabar says, for the first, my milk can stay in my coffee. Betsy Powell says, my community is always safe. That's a good thing. Let me see. Arlene Rose says, that's because you don't have no door and windows for luck. Wow, Arlene. Wow. Yeah, okay. For Pauline Taylor, Pauline says, yes, I feel safe. I must congratulate the police and the JLP team. Little Miss R saying, I left my purse outside and come back to it. That is something. I know everywhere you go leave your purse and come back feet though. Marlene P says, we're getting there when we can sleep with our doors open. And I must say that not some people won't agree with you. That's their view. Maybe because of where it is that they're living. Damien, do you feel safe? Damien says he feels safe. Oh boy, safe is relative to the people, because it depends on community and the environment in which you are. Yeah? I mean, people who live some part of Portmore, they will say that, things haven't been so lovely on their side. Robberies maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying. Rodrigo Cohen says, I sleep with my windows open every night, but I lock my doors. Your windows grilled. K&D says, I sleep with my windows and doors open when I'm ready. Where I went and I found it so amazing that people actually slept with their doors and their windows open. The BVI, Tortola. I was amazed because it was new to me. People literally sleeping with their windows and doors open. Nobody nah touch nothing. Nobody nah take nothing. Nobody now comfy nobody. And I was like, it was new to me. Yeah. Gary Morrison said, I sleep with my windows and doors open. Let me see if I can get in some more. Jamaica is much safer now, Chief of Staff says. Sonny Google is asking which country in the world you can go sleep with your window. And yeah, BVI. I think it was maybe like in 2009. 2010 thereabout, I went to the BVI. People literally sleep with them doors and windows open. I was amazed. Yeah, I was amazed. Ozra Walker is saying, where I'm living, I am safe, crime-free, to be honest. That's good. CJ Martinez is saying that crime is out of control in Montego Bay. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe it is dependent on where you are. Ian says my community is very safe because you do have hotspots and the police, they try to go in, they try to rid the space of criminality to a certain extent, But you the people have to help in this regard, yeah? Remember, you the people, you want to see the reduction, you want to continue seeing the reduction. Remember that you have a card to play as it relates to this. So help the police. The police, them can't do it alone. Yeah? Help the police. That's all the time we have for Public Opinion. Thank you so much for your opinion. I'm seeing somebody. What is the population in BVI? It's very, very small. It's a very, very small country. I was running a joke the other day. Say you can literally drive around the country in a day or so. Yeah? But that's all the time for Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. The Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, says internet banking fraud has gone up by nearly 900% since 2020. The central bank's latest financial stability report for 2024 has identified internet fraud and cyber risks as two of the most significant emerging threats to the country's banking sector. The report was posted on the BOJ's website on Monday, so you can feel free to go and view it. Cyber crimes have been on the rise across the world due to the significant expansion of online banking sparked by the COVID-19 pandemic, and Jamaica has seen a similar expansion. According to the BOJ, internet banking fraud increased due to a shift towards electronic methods for transacting business. It says between 2020 and 2023, the country saw an 890% increase in internet banking fraud. That's an increase in excess of $350 million. That should be $330 million compared to 2019. 2019 and the years prior. Further afield, the UK is expecting to be hit by new U.S. tariffs on Wednesday, with Downing Street indicating a deal to exempt British goods and will not be reached in time. U.S. President Donald Trump has said he plans to unveil a raft of new tariffs or import taxes on April 2, on top of a 25% levy on car and car parts, which has already been announced. Over the weekend, he suggested the tariffs would hit all countries, not just those with biggest trade imbalances with the U.S. The Prime Minister's official spokesman said talks on an economic deal between the two countries to avoid tariffs had been constructive, but he did not rule out retaliating if they were imposed on the UK. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 158 Jamaican dollars and 44 cents to buy $1 US, 206 Jamaican dollars and 39 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 113 Jamaican dollars and 7 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robian Williams. Good evening. But I must say, during Public Opinion, I wasn't comparing the BVI with Jamaica. There, in no possible terms that could be the case. I was just saying that it was my first experience going to a place and seeing people sleeping with their doors and windows open. Yeah, that's all the time. Thank you so much. Good evening.
The NWC's bill-free promotion is here. Be one of 350 persons to get $20,000 water credit when you pay your bill in full every month until March 31, 2025. And there's more. Oh yes, you can win $300,000, $200,000, or $100,000 cash in the NWC's bill-free promotion if you register for e-bill and pay your bill in full every month until March 31. Conditions apply. Visit nwcjamaica.com for details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act, a part of the NWC's bucket full of goodies.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link?
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
How many times have we seen people reveal the most personal and intimate parts and places they do in the public domain? Then boops, all Dolly House mash up, and they're requesting privacy during this time. How must people be asked to respect your privacy when you haven't even shown it to yourself? How important is it for couples to be seen in the public space in order for validation and acceptance to be proof? Why do some partners insist every moment must be revealed? What is the relationship rate of success for those who are public versus private? What are the pros and cons? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic: if we're not all over social media, does that mean our relationship isn't the real deal?
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness. Healthy people, healthy environment. Dewars. Here's to the story.
And Durex, distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. On the next episode, we'll explore from standard to safety, the role of accreditation and certification in food safety.
Tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast to the Mason Hall Water Supply Commissioning Ceremony at Mason Hall Primary and Infant School in St. Mary on Tuesday, April 1. It's an exciting moment for the community as 1,100 residents will soon have access to clean, potable water. Tune in for the coverage, exclusive interviews with Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, key government officials, and a representative from Rural Water Supply Limited. It's an event you won't want to miss. So, tune in to Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesday, April 1. It's a broadcast of the Mason Hall Water Supply Commissioning Ceremony at Mason Hall Primary and Infant School in St. Mary. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Rural Water Supply Limited.
Trauma can impact more than just your childhood. It can shape your future. Tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 8 p.m. as we broadcast live from the 2025 Grace Kennedy Foundation Lecture, Breaking the Cycle of Childhood Trauma, on April 2. Join Professor the Honorable Wendell Abel, a leading expert in psychiatry, as he explores the long-lasting effects of childhood trauma and the path to recovery. It's an important conversation you don't want to miss. So tune in to Nationwide at 5 from 6 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, April 2 for the 2025 Grace Kennedy Foundation Lecture, Breaking the Cycle of Childhood Trauma. Register now at Grace Kennedy Foundation's Eventbrite page to watch the live stream. Don't miss it. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me. Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honeybee
and Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. What you said?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezone blinddates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblinddates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
This time signal is sponsored by Janet Global Accreditation, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The time is now
6:43.
Girls and more girls at the sweetest time. At the sweetest time. At the sweetest time. Girls' time, at the sweetest time, when the sun gone in and the moon start shine, and the cassette in at the tape deck a rewind, juice a blend up with red sparkling wine. Girls' time.
The sounds there of Clifford Smith. You may know him as Mr. Vegas. Well, he made his debut on the political campaign trail yesterday. And in that debut, Cliff, he criticized former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson for his role in the Finsack debacle.
Dressed in a green hat, white trousers, and a green polo shirt, bearing the image of MP Heroy Clark, Mr. Vegas addressed the JLP Workers' Conference in the constituency of Central St. James.
We have the right man for the job. Everything that's going on in the world, you need somebody with a steady hand. You need somebody who can manage the thing. You don't need somebody where when pressure take him have to send for PJ Patterson. Labor rights, when I see them put up the flyer, say them set the record straight. I thought PJ was gonna come apologize to the Jamaican people. I thought PJ Patterson was gonna come and beg you for forgiveness. After all, it was under PJ Patterson where we lost over 40,000 business, where the rich got richer off the backs of the poor people, while the homeless people here in Montego Bay, St. James, were scraped up and carried down a St. Elizabeth got dumped.
Mr. Vegas, who these days spends much of his time in the United States, praised Jamaicans here at home for surviving so-called PNP-ism.
As a little youth, when my parents sent me to shop one day to go buy some rice, and I go to the shop, and the housekeeper said to me, I have to buy soap with the rice. That's sticking on my brain from them time there. So me did have to be a labor right. Because them days there are the days when PNP have it. Hey! We're living in an era where we can remind ourselves of goods we used to married for we get little food. These are under PNP in 1978. So we have to break the curse of PNP-ism. We have to break the curse of false promises.
Mr. Vegas, on the political platform of the Labour Party yesterday evening in the western city of Montego Bay, he came out in support of the incumbent member for Central St. James, the JLP's Heroy Clark. Good evening, Mr. Vegas.
Good evening.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. Tell me, why did you join the JLP?
Say that one more time, Cliff. You broke up a little bit.
Why did you join the JLP? Why did you decide that, listen, well, you have been posting online pro-JLP commentaries, but you went further last night. You appeared on the political platform. Tell us why.
Well, I've been supporting the Jamaica Labour Party before Andrew Wilness became Prime Minister. I don't know if you remember, I was doing the rounds via the media houses back in 2015, before Mr. Holness became Prime Minister. And at that point, it was the issue with the selling of Goat Island. So I was one of the advocates who were actually doing the rounds. Then he promised me when I interviewed him in 2016, that he would see to it that we, hold on to that piece of treasure that we have because of the significance that it holds. Mm-hmm. So I've been supporting, Mr. Holness since then, and I still support him. Of course, there throughout time, there are things that I pointed out, and when I met with him face to face, he's very gracious, with me being critical of things that I've seen. So I grew to have more respect for him. He was actually one of the inspirations, as a young, I think he was one of the youngest, candidate to run for Prime Minister. Candidates to run for Prime Minister. So that was inspirational for me as well. That played a role into me going back to school at, a later age in my life. And there, I graduated from FIU with a bachelor's in sociology and anthropology. So he has been very inspirational, and of course I look at the work that he's doing, and I can see where he's, one of the, he may be the best Prime Minister that I've ever, lived, to see in my time here on earth.
Mr. Vegas, so I hear you on the inspiration that the Prime Minister has, afforded to you and how you were motivated. But what is it about this particular moment, the moment that we are in as a country, why you felt it necessary to take it a step further and actually go on a political platform and make the kind of endorsement you did and launch the kind of attack that you did on a former Prime Minister and the opposition PNP?
Though I supported Mr. Holness throughout his tenure, But I've never gone the distance where I am actually that you're seeing now. I remember my debut last night, But I think it stems from this level of involvement, stems from Mark Golding's skit with Big Stone, a close, I may say family member of mine. My nephew is actually his father. That skit, it rubbed me very wrong. I remember tagging Mr. Golding, and I said, "This is very offensive. You need to apologize."
And just to be clear, that skit was the one with the chains.
Yes, with big chain around Big Stone.
And Big Stone, what is your relation with Big Stone?
My nephew is actually his father.
Your nephew is his father?
My nephew is the father of Big Stone. Sorry.
Oh.
Big Stone is the father of my nephew, excuse me.
Okay.
Right. So, it rubbed me very wrong. Very, very wrong. And as a result, I think I started pointing out more things that came along the way from Mr. Golding in terms of his birth certificate, his status, his citizenship status and stuff like that. And then I realized in throughout the whole thing, I discovered where he lied unnecessarily. And I was like, who is this man? What was that to lie about? Yeah, it just started rubbing me the wrong way. And of course, along the line, I saw where he endorsed, in my opinion, or my view, Rattigan and the people who I call them the dissidents overseas who were going around the world, going around the United States, Canada. I think they went to England. In my view, bringing down the country, being very, very unpatriotic in my view. And the things that they were saying on international soil, it just rubbed me the wrong way. So I went to Washington, D.C. to challenge them there in Washington, D.C. And we managed to buy some bullhorns and stuff like that. And me and like 12 of us, because they had called the Secret Service on us. So we were not allowed to have more than 12 persons out there. And we used those bullhorns, like 2 bullhorns, and the 12 of us that were out there, Imhotep and some other brothers and sisters. And we totally shut them down in Washington, D.C., and then the whole thing unraveled there. After that, we heard them started fighting over money and stuff like that. So those are the little things that got me more involved. The unpatriotic and, when I realized that, I heard at one point where Mr. Golding was like giving them a shout out or promoting their upcoming event, those type of things that rubbed me wrong. Yes, as a Jamaican, I sing a song named Sweet Jamaica, and them things. Jamaica is a place that's dear to me. I remember going back and forth with Lisa Hanna when she was then Minister of Culture on using a pop song to celebrate our 50th anniversary. So I'm not like a rookie in this regard of promoting Jamaica and promoting what I think is best for this country.
But I want to take you back to Big Stone, because Big Stone's incident with Mr. Golding went all over the place, went viral, and we've never had an opportunity to speak with him. Have you spoken with him about that incident?
Well, no, I actually saw Big Stone once, and it was at an interview. I was doing an interview at one of the other stations. So I haven't gotten the chance to speak to him, but knowing Big Stone, I think he would have seized the opportunity at that point to promote whatever he think he needs to be promoting. I think Mr. Golding should have known better, based on the history of enslavement and stuff like that. I think he should have known better. And to this day, he does not. He has not apologized. And another thing that I find very offensive, I don't know if, some Jamaicans look at it this way, is when he's out there speaking and he went to the church and the Poco man was doing all that thing around him. And then he took the microphone and was like, our ancestors suffered. Our ancestors. And I was like, but my ancestors are not your ancestors. I think, I think that needs to be something that you address, in a different way.
Mr. Vegas, tell me, you're still domiciled in Jamaica or you live overseas?
Well, I live both here and overseas, but I'm mostly here. All my business, is conducted here. My business is conducted here. So, Jamaica, wait, the man, no one better than yard.
Oh, your business is in Jamaica?
Everything. I do all my business here.
Mm-hmm.
So I live here majority of the time.
Okay.
I have family overseas. My kids are overseas.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You said you were inspired by Mr. Holness to go back to school in later life. You went to FIU, you did sociology. At what age did you return to school?
Well, I think I saw someone from the PMP side said I was 44 when I got my high school diploma. So, maybe about that age, about 44, I think, based on Google standard. Let's keep it at that.
How old are you now?
About thereabout.
How old are you now?
Old enough to stand up for the country.
I see. I notice you're reluctant to say how old are you. You were born in the 70s? Were you born in the 70s?
Yeah, man.
You were born in the 70s.
Let's put it this way, I was not 4 when I used to go to the shop, and the shopkeeper, was them days, we used to have a shop where the lady is basically our house. She was running the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Our house was attached to the shop, and I remember going to that shop, I went to buy some rice, and the lady basically, I didn't even get to buy the rice because she said I needed some soap. It was like something tied, like a plastic or something, wrapped both items together.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that clearly.
And that would have dated you, because only if you were born and grew up in the 70s would you have had the experience of the shortages and marrying of goods. Yes.
Well, let's put out there, I was born in 71, since this is an issue I think people may want to run with. Entertainers don't normally run around telling their age, because we are about internet age and a reality.
You said 1971?
So I was born in 71. Okay. So I would have, known about this era.
Yes. Okay. Let me ask you, aren't you worried that by coming out this, because yes, you were always tweeting and, making comments online, but this kind of forceful endorsement and attack on the PNP, aren't you worried that a whole section of the Jamaican population now will be turned off from you?
No, because guess what? I think I'm just doing it. I'm just more outspoken and trying to articulate the points. So I think the people who really care about this country and who want the best for this country, I think they will just understand that what I am doing is I'm putting forward the truth, what I see as the truth. Yeah, I think things that I speak about, you should take me up on the things that I'm speaking about, instead of getting our personal feelings involved. Then you will see where I am coming from. Yeah, I think this country has given a lot to me. The people of this country have given a lot to me. I started. I remember kicking on my career at Sting, on the small stage. And when I went to Montego Bay, the response from the crowd there in Montego Bay in 1998 Reggae Sumfest, that is what propelled Mr. Vegas to who I am today. So I owe, a lot to the Jamaican people. And if one of the things that I have to do is to point out the things that they may be oblivious to in terms of what is going on in the political space, then I'm going to do that. But we cannot deny that majority of artists that have come forward over the years have supported the People's National Party as far back as I can think. I remember when artists were singing songs and saying they are PMP. Mm-hmm. I've seen where Beenie Man, one of my brother, who I respect a lot. I've seen where he has supported the People's National Party for years. So I think it is my, right to support what I think is best for this country. And of course, I would not be a person to see something that is totally wrong by the Jamaica Labour Party and still run out there and put forward something that I know is totally wrong.
But do you aspire to enter representational politics, Mr. Vegas? You see yourself in the future taking on a constituency?
Well, no. Because my career, I think I've put forward a career that I will be working until I decide that I do not want to work anymore on stages across the world. So, I don't see myself leaving the stage to enter politics. Do I love to have a conversation? Do I love to go on a platform with, and speak to people? Yes, I love to do these things. And I think I chose the right academic path. Yeah, sociology and anthropology, because I get to learn about people and study society and artifacts and all of them type of things. So I love to do what I do, but I try to do it respectfully and truthfully.
But I don't see myself. How do you deal with the kinds of attacks that you come under from time to time, I see, on social media?
I've been going through different level of attacks since I came into the industry. I think just dancehall music, or being in dancehall music on a whole, is a very competitive, it's like a combative arena. So I've learned to deal with this type of attack or attacks, and I've grown thicker skin over the years. I've been called many things. I've been battered and all that, ushered out and all that. So I think I'm now battle tested. So personal attacks, yeah, they do not they're not deterrents for me, right?
I want to go back to the point of Mr. Golding's ancestry, because you hinted at it and how he addresses it. There are people who say that the focus on his ancestry, his descendants, whoever they may be, it's inappropriate because Jamaica is a plural society and we talk about out of many one people, and so we shouldn't make comments about his race and his past and that kind of a thing. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think this is a different situation. If Siaga, he was alive, was running around taking chains or putting chains off the necks of black people, I would have hold the same position. So I think
could not
Mr. Golding should be more mindful.
Mr. Vegas, Siaga could not even think for a second of doing that. Could not. The way the PNP vilified Siaga over the decades, that could not have crossed his mind. Anyway, sorry. I just thought I needed to say that. Go ahead, Mr. Vegas.
I think it triggers a lot of people or persons who have studied the history or who have looked at the years of Africans, being enslaved and the treatment, and we have even gone as far as looking at Mr. Golding's family tree, and there is some amount of information there that we have discovered thanks to Jamaica 411 Michelle and Nats and these. I think they're actually PNP supporters, but they have looked at the same information and they've shared the information, and we have looked at it as well, and we have seen where it is possible that his family line through his mother was directly involved in slavery. If we look at the Levies and so forth. Like they're directly owned slaves. So those things I think should play a role. I should have played a role into what Mr. Golding did. And then I think another thing that I looked at, when you looked at him as a quote unquote white person, I think when I look at the way he's treating this republic situation, Jamaica to become a republic situation, I think it's very unfortunate some of the things that he's doing. We discovered that, when he was saying we cannot have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of King Charles Yard, then to realize that he's actually a full British citizen. That was kind of, a moment there as well, very disingenuous. And we said, but why did, reason off the record, we said, but why the white man want us to leave the King's Yard totally, but you're still hanging on? Yeah, so, then we had to like beg him, like, are you going to just stand with us and be a Jamaican? Are you going to try to hold on to this dual citizenship at the highest level? And I think a lot of people do not understand it, and it looks like a small issue to them. But then you're talking about, you being the leader of a country and being a dual citizen, who you're going to pledge your loyalty to.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Is it Clifton or Clifford Smith?
Clifford
Smith. Thank you very much, Mr.
Clifford.
Vegas.
Actually, that name was given to me by my father because he wanted me to be the Governor General. The Governor General was Clifford, and Clifford at that time.
Clifford
so,
Campbell.
Maybe
yes.
it's a spell that he casted upon me that I just love to speak on political issues and social issues.
Who knows? You may still get there one day.
I'm too grown for that now. Old for that now.
Governors General.
I would have to start like 20 years ago, and then I would have, maybe gone.
I hear you.
Thank you for your time.
All the best.
Yes, respect. Yes,
good. 5 minutes after 7. What Mark Golding did you know with Big Stone? Yeah? Siaga couldn't do that. Yeah? Because the dynamics were so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And it's one of the things that amazes me. Mark Golding has done a number of things that have amazed me, but that is one of them. Because he was so tone deaf and politically dunce to have done that. Yeah? I don't know. No. Which other politician could have done that?
Sometimes I wonder if it's a consequence of privilege, whereby
you're blind.
Precisely. Blinded by that privilege, such that Mr. Golding may not be able to see how others, especially those who come from very different backgrounds, may see and interpret and receive some of the things he does and says. I agree with you. It was a stunning moment. Seemingly orchestrated by the PNP General Secretary, based on how it played out.
Yeah.
But Mr. Golding should have had the good sense to
say
no.
Yeah.
To say no.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is Nationwide at 5.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is...
It's 7 minutes after 7.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. The Flea and the Elephant. It was a remarkable sight, as it always is, seeing the Prime Minister of minuscule Jamaica standing next to a high-ranking representative of the monolith to the north, the United States of America. Apart from the obvious fact that both men put on their trousers one leg at a time, there is very little other similarity. Irish author and philosopher Charles Handy wrote a book titled The Elephant and the Flea. The elephant being a metaphor for large organizations, and the flea being tiny organizations that, like parasites, survive by living off organizations that are much larger. Handy gives this advice to the fleas of the business world. I quote, "Stay on the back of the elephant and don't get sucked into his bloodstream." Unquote. That serves as good advice for minnow nation states like Jamaica that must swim in the same ocean with superpower whales like America. One saw the disparity on full display in the press conference between our Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, and United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio in their press conference on the latter's recent stopover visit to Jamaica. It's a game, folks. It started with the platitudinous gesture of Mr. Rubio saying Jamaica is the Caribbean's most like-minded country to the United States in their bilateral relations. And it ended with no signed agreement, but the empty promise by Mr. Rubio that he would look into the irritant of U.S. travel advisories warning its citizens against vacationing in Jamaica, and non-committal statements regarding President Trump's policy of ruining the health system of Jamaica as punishment for using Cuban health service providers, and destroying the country's economy over its dealings with China, as well as threats of imposing tariffs on aluminum and its derivatives. I have coined a word for this charade, which passes as respectful dialogue. Diplocracy, the cross between diplomacy and hypocrisy. In his book titled Struggle in the Periphery, 1982, late Prime Minister Michael Manley gave a peek into the off-camera meetings he had with then U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger at the height of Jamaica's pursuit of a fairer return from trade of a strategic mineral through the bauxite levy, and his, Manley's, stout defense of the country's sovereignty in forging closer relationship with Cuba. Going behind the scenes, one gets a better understanding of Henry Kissinger's dictum: America has no permanent friends or enemies, only interests. Going back to the start of this commentary, the two men facing the cameras in the press conference, Rubio and Holness, put on their trousers, one leg at a time, as the saying goes. But the one in the short pants is the Prime Minister of Jamaica. I just saw it go. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
Digicel, live life your way, not free what? Digicel postpaid. With Digicel postpaid, it's all about you. Sign up or pay your bills to stay active for a chance to win a luxurious all-expense paid trip for two to Royalton, Antigua, with round-trip flights on us. Every week you could win exciting prizes: event tickets, gym memberships, spa packages, excursion adventures, restaurant vouchers, and more. When you opt in on the My Digicel app, life your way starts now with Digicel. Better connected.
Promotion ends March 31. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar. Win with love. Use your JMMB Money Transfer Prepaid Visa Card from October 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025 for a chance to win your share of a $2.1 million grand prize, plus a $100,000 university cash grant and cash back from paying tolls and shopping with your card. Receive money 24/7 in minutes with Visa Direct via MoneyGram, Zoom, Remitly, or directly through RIA and Zoom. Visit jm.jmmb.com/money-transfer for full details on how to enter and win with love. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. APC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
"15 after 7. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
You know, I've said to you before, Cliff, that I blame your generation for a lot. And I listened a while ago.
My generation?
Yes, to the Watchman. And I said last week that there are some who do not recognize that the world is a different place, right? That leaders of governments are playing with a different set of cards, different marbles. And I said that I thought Andrew Holness, he's read the game properly. And he's playing Jamaica's hand, assisted by his foreign minister, as well he can and as best he can. The reckless idealism I just heard from the Watchman, I want to say to my listeners, you ought to reject that. I said it last week and I'm going to say it again. You ought to reject it. We cannot be idealistic about foreign policy in this global environment. It has to be approached from a pragmatic place. I do not agree that what I saw last week was our Prime Minister standing in, what did he say, short pants or shorts?
I didn't hear it. That's what he said?
Yes. And there's a school of thought. And it comes from your generation. And it comes from the period of the 1970s where you all stood on principle. And I applaud you for standing on principle. But it cost this country an incredible price. And I'm willing to bet that most of my countrymen in 2025 are not prepared to pay that price.
I think you're absolutely correct on that. You're absolutely correct on that. And you're also correct that in the 70s, we stood on principles, yes? But the global context then was nowhere near what it is today. First of all, if you were around at that time, you'd be well over 50 now.
Yes.
Right? And God created we humans with the ability to learn. To learn.
Absolutely.
That is one of the essential differences between humans and animals. And even animals and creatures, learn. There was the famous studies about the dogs. Who was it? Pavlov? Was it Pavlov? Did the experiment with the dogs. And when the dogs entered a certain place or a fence and it would shock them, they go there once or twice. They weren't going back there a third time because they would have learned.
Right.
We are far more able to discern and to learn. So from that perspective alone, those who lived through the 70s and the heyday of Michael Manley should learn from that experience. That especially in today's world and in the era of Trump
in particular.
Exactly.
Yes.
Who is a man of very little character, totally transactional, yes, not able to think beyond what he's getting, yes, his bank book, that can't work. That for the next 4 years, he is the most powerful man on earth, and he has demonstrated a willingness and a capacity to exercise and to use that power.
For vengeance.
For vengeance.
Yes.
And he says it. Yeah? So you're right. what Holness has done in playing his cards, is pragmatic and very sensible. And those of us, and I did not hear the Watchman, if you continue to believe that Holness should come and beat his chest and behave like Michael Manley and whatever, that is sheer stupidity. And the same Jamaican people today would have turned against him with a vengeance if he went and beat his chest and behaved like him bad and threatened Trump. And Trump just said, okay, Jamaicans no longer allowed to come here. Visa or no visa. They would have nyam him. So, I hate to say it, but you're correct.
Well, I'm glad you said it. And I hate to tell you that, I don't know, your generation is so wedded. I read the comments online and I don't want to be ageist, but it's a particular generation that's fueling this narrative. And I just don't understand that. Why? At what cost? At what cost?
Yeah. Well, but I think it's stupid. It would be stupid to behave. And I've said it. I have access to a microphone, but I don't run Jamaica. Holness is the prime minister of a country. I am a mere talk show host. Commentator. I don't have to balance several interests.
Absolutely,
that Holness has to do. So he can't say what I say.
I remember last week we had the foreign minister on, and I put that to her, how you deal with the criticisms. Because editorials are written, people call into programs, people tweet, they mention her, the abuse that she suffered, when Mia Motley, Ralph Gonzalez came out and say, they were willing to give up. She was abused online.
Yes.
And, for her course of action to be proven now to be correct, and then for everybody just to be silent as if they weren't just stringing her up on a cross. It's not right, man.
It's not right. It's a grudging admission that, okay.
I saw an editorial this morning that gave grudging admission that they were wrong.
I saw the Gleaner editorial yesterday.
Oh, you're braver than me. All right.
And I thought as much. Anyway, we have some callers on the line. Good evening. Good evening.
Alaric, good evening.
Good evening, Cliff. Good evening, Ricardo.
How are you?
Ricardo.
Yes, sir.
I reject totally what Mr. Morgan had said. It upset me so much when he said it, that the Prime Minister was standing there with the one in the short pants.
No,
it's a statement that Mr. Morgan should come back one afternoon, give it a thought and come back and say to the Jamaican people, he's sorry. The dynamics in the world now change in terms of where the politics is. And Henry Rogers has a song, it's on my ringtone, The Gambler.
You have to know when to hold
walk away. You got to know when to fold. When you get a deck of cards, you got to know which hand to play, which hand to dump. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. You got to do the counting of your money when the game is done. And I want Mr. Morgan to go and listen to that song and just shift through it and see what it means. As far as I'm concerned, this Prime Minister and this Foreign Affairs Minister is playing a hand that they are dealt. And they are playing it the right way.
I think so.
And yes, Ricardo?
No, I'm saying I think so. I absolutely think so. I agree with you.
It boiled me up when I heard him with it. Henry Kissinger days and today, completely different, Mr. Hughes and Ricardo. Different dynamics in the world. Russia, different dynamics in the days of Michael Manley. Russia was giving Cuba X amount of money a day, and Michael decided to walk the mountaintop with the people in Cuba and things. There's a different dynamics. China has some power. America's power in the world is weakening a bit. Other countries are coming up. Mr. Morgan is totally wrong. My Prime Minister was not in the short pants at that meeting with and I reject it totally.
In fact, Andrew, Prime Minister Holness, please. Prime Minister Holness has never, stood as tall as he did last week in front of Rubio.
I agree.
Who is a short man.
Yeah, and he faced him down on the Cuban program. He said definitively,
yes,
no, there's no forced labor here. We have our laws. Our laws are stringent and they're in line with international standards on labor. I don't see how he was a shorter guy there, quite apart from the obvious height difference. I don't see that at all.
No.
I don't see it.
Mr. Hughes and Ricardo, if you listen to what the Prime Minister said now, and if you go back and listen to what the Foreign Affairs Minister said now, she said she don't make a lot of noise, I heard her with George, and she said she don't make a lot of noise. She don't shout. She's a negotiator. And she said, they directly said, the Cuban people who are working here, we treat them just as well as we treat the Jamaican people. They are on contract. When their contract is up, they go. We re-sign. We want to come back. They are not slaves. So we had Mr. Morgan going with this thing about the Prime Minister was the one up there in the short pants. It's a regrettable statement, guys. Totally regrettable, man.
Yes, I was distracted. I wasn't listening to him. Yeah.
He said that, Mr. Youth, that when you looked last week on the podium, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Dr. Holness, was the one in the short pants, and Rubio was the one in the tall pants because of what Kissinger said a couple of years ago. How many years ago that was? Maybe Ricardo was just a baby then.
Ricardo wasn't born.
I wasn't even born.
That was in 1975.
The world dynamics in the world, politics has changed.
Yeah.
The world dynamics and everything in the world has changed. So you got to play the hand that you get, Mr. Hughes and Ricardo. You must play the hand that you get if you have the people's interest in your country at heart.
Yes, sir. Yeah. You're correct.
I want to say to Cliff Alric, it's not that I am against principle and being principled in foreign policy. But for me, it's a question of what is the principle? It seems to me the principle here is that you put Jamaica's interests first. And if Jamaica's interests are best protected by behind-the-scene, careful negotiations, that's the path you take. You don't get pressured by others who have their own country to govern and their own interests to protect and may choose a different path. Mia Motley has her own mandate in Barbados. Ralph Gonzalez has his own mandate in St. Vincent.
And don't forget,
they can interpret that.
Don't forget what Prime Minister Motley said, you know. She, as in the people of Barbados, did not have any Cuban medical professionals at this time in Barbados.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah, so she didn't have anything to lose.
There you go.
Nothing to lose, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes, you asked me today, what has Jamaica got to lose in terms of what is happening in Greenland and Jamaica? And I said, what have we got? And you said, that's it. And that's the same thing with Madrid. Nothing to lose. So we have to negotiate. We need the health services from those people. And as the lady said, she doesn't make a lot of noise here. Ricardo said she works quietly behind the scene in the best interest of what it is for the Jamaican people. Mr. Morgan, you have to wheel and come again. Have a good evening, guys.
All right, Eric. Carl, good evening.
Evening, Ricardo. Evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Carl.
Mr. Hughes, if
Yes,
you left up last Stone Hill and I come down, I reach right to come to your radio station and Mr. Golden, should I give you a call and then say you get left up in your dog, them out the road?
I'm telling you.
And tell you, your dogs, them out the road. You wouldn't bother check that.
What a wicked man like this.
You wouldn't bother to check.
Leave my dog out of this here. Leave my dogs out of this. Don't mix up the dogs.
If Mr. Golden could have called a press conference last week, Wednesday.
My dogs don't lie.
And say him not have nothing to do with the FinSap business. He was just an ordinary businessman. That's why I have to use that.
Yeah.
I remember one night when Golden get the head of the PMP, Dean Jackson Miller, interviewing. And Dean Jackson Miller asked him all of those questions. And Golden
Did you just call Dean Jackson Miller the head of the PMP?
What?
Golden was the head of the PMP.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, you can't hardly put Dean Jackson Miller far away.
Carl,
leave that anyway.
Carl.
We'll leave that. Sorry about that. Anyhow, and he asked Golden the question, and Golden said, he was a chief advisor for Dr. Omar Davis. I don't know what chief advisor, that means just say no. anybody who else I got say nothing to advise Omar have to come through Golden Hand as the chief one, so. And he said that's why Golden invite him to take the seat. So if we hear him last week Wednesday come and say something like that, boy, I know Bulldog in a Senator Friday daytime. Everybody can get ready a Friday day to listen to the Senate, just like when time whether elderly man did hit the name again from the PMP there. I elderly man one. Used to carry on a Friday daytime. But may I tell you, Mr.
I know who you're talking, but
this man cannot be trusted to speak the truth. Because if you can't say, remember saying Mr. Hughes, Greg Christie, them did accuse them of benefit from the something how much years now.
We call it a sweetheart deal. Christie labeled it a sweetheart deal.
Thank you. And for all of those years, this man never come up and say one word about it. I agree this evening with Mr. Vegas. Mr. Vegas, not you alone, this chain business rub. And I hate to hear a lot of people nowadays will tell me, say, out of many we are one. No, out of many we are not one, no. Olin is a white man, me is a black man. That's what they tell me about Eddie Seago.
Our motto is out of many one people.
Yeah,
that is our motto. And we're not going to allow any one or two persons, to change that.
Well, I agree with you there, sir. But every time Seago was around, out of many we are one. Never apply.
Yes.
It never apply. But now it must apply. What a dangerous time. That's why even yesterday I was at a car wash and two comrade commander with them band and majority of us that was there was the Jamaica Labour Party. And I said to one of them, I said, boy, you don't have any shame. You should be ashamed of having on that band to know that they are supporting a white man. You know, saying about a wash I car wash and disappear. And couldn't take me on. Could not take me on.
Well, you know, we have a problem. I have a problem with their race-based.
We can associate with that.
I have a problem with their race-based politics. I don't think you need to be harping on Mr. Goulding's skin color or ancestry to make the point against him. You have a case. You can make a case, without the continuous reference to his.
And I will take that from you, Mr. Hughes. But Mr. Hughes,
I keep on reminding you, Carl.
Mr. Hughes,
when they did it, when they did it against Seaga, it was bad. But Carl, you see, I go back to the human spirit, to forgive, if not forget, but forgive. When they did it to Seaga, you cried. It hurt laborites up and down the country. Yes? It must be hurting to some comrades now because they know it's a weak point. That is why you must be careful of what you do, because these things come back to haunt you.
Anyhow, all right, Mekulefi, white man. 1 minute.
Let me just read this feedback I'm getting, Cliff. Somebody's telling me we should leave Carl alone. And they say the opposition leader is a white man.
That's a fact.
And they hung Papa Eddie. So allow Carl to hang back Massa Mark.
See? That is what you call revenge.
Yes.
The mentality, the instinct to exact revenge.
So Carl has his supporters.
Yes.
Oh God, out the door you're big and white.
I know, Carl. I know.
Mr. Hughes, want to just say something to you before.
No, man, you're there a long time now, Carl. Quickly.
I want Mr. Hughes, feel to say the human rights them and the church body, it is full time, or even the private sector them, to call a press conference now and summon Golden to find out if Golden give up his citizenship.
Good evening,
it is
Carl.
full time.
Good evening, Carl. Oh, Lord. Faithful. Faithful? Somebody say, are the plagues of Nationwide. Them come back to back. Faithful? No, not hearing faithful. The YouTubers are also actively engaged in the chat. David is not David.
Let's
they
give
read
the
some of the
YouTubers.
comments.
Owen Grant says black man time now. Oh Lord. Nighthawk says racism on a JLP. Oh, it's moving quickly.
Yes. Thousands, yeah, they're there. You can join the conversation. Nationwide 90 FM Live too. That's the channel. You can join the online community. David, good evening.
Good evening to you, Mr. Hughes and Ricardo.
Yes.
Good evening, David.
Yeah, man. I called to really congratulate you, Ricardo. Thank you for immediately after the Watchman, you addressed that, because a young man like you is we need right now to kind of lead in the 21st century. Because I couldn't make sense of what was really said on the program, you know, because I was trying to understand exactly what the Mr. Morgan was saying at the end of the day, and I agree with the caller, you know, and we should not go back. That, you know, we're living in the 21st century is different, far different from back in the 70s. I was born in the 60s, so I know the difference between the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. You understand? And globally, I mean, the policies, the leadership, everything is different. You know, and you cannot govern, and you cannot use the same method that was used in the 70s and the 80s. You know, in any global activities and negotiation and you know, going forward.
Right.
The world is different.
Yeah.
You know, and I really congratulate you for you to really step in immediately and actually address it.
No, it's something I feel very strongly about. Cliff and I have had arguments about it. I feel pretty strongly about it.
Man, I don't say we need more of you guys, young guys, that can step in and make you guys are making.
Well, I feel them time now, you know. I feel them time now.
Young people time now.
Yeah. They call me the old man around here now. Yeah?
No, Mr. No, man, you're a teacher. You're not the old man.
Tell him for me now.
No, I've always given you that. I give you that every day. In Bex, David come and tell him that he's as old as Jamaica, and that's crazy. Thank you for the call, David.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
All right. Richie, good evening.
Good evening, Mas. Big man and little boy.
That go sweet him. That go sweet him.
Yes, Richie. Yes.
Me I tell you, say you then call me whole man. We always have to say them to catch you if you can, you know.
No, he challenged me today. After me telling him, he challenged me for run around the car park with him.
Me I tell you, say a promotion with that like you forgive him. It's to give him clip you online because you're old. You hear me?
Oh,
anyway,
I'd host sometimes.
Ricardo.
Sometimes. Yes, Richie.
You see, you can't blame. I mean, you can't blame us here for what happened to us in the 70s. But you see, back in those days,
yes,
you didn't have much educated people, you know.
Yeah, I do get the sense that a lot of people didn't understand some of what was happening. I do get that sense from all I've read and heard from the elders.
Most of us.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you something. I think it was in the 80s. I know this youth used to go to Belagate Primary School. And teach them, diggle, cat and the code jump over the moon, look, go laugh, and cat generate spoon. And look what I said, you know. And when the teacher asked him why one said, instead of cow can't jump over the moon. And that's just in the 80s. You can't bring in the foolishness to any pitman of them ideas. You understand what I make it to do? You have come a far away, you know, as the younger people, you know, just, I mean, everything just come easy to you, no make no mistake. All right, my next point. You see when Mark Golden tied that chain around the so-called Rastaman neck,
Big
no, me
stone.
can't come to it, you know. You know why? Him tie the chain around him man neck and say I release it. Oh, I release black people with a bandage. As a white man, whenever I say I say to you,
Yes,
as
yes,
a
we
white
do.
man, I release black people with a bandage as if I know claim ancestors enslave us.
Mm-hmm.
We can't believe in hard steps I see this man just try to take people for food. As Mr. Yu said, Mr. Seka could never do that. And it's something that he should apologize for, and it's not too late. Because, I mean, we have, me personally, we have a fight, you know. Because almost every step this man take in trying to take people food, that was one of the worst things ever done since from there. The man, I tell my black people tie chain on the man's neck. And it's so-called Rasta man not even know say food, not even know say food the man that take him for. You ever say? Margoli needs to still apologize for it. And some people might not even understand. But you tell me it's a white man. And you tie a chain on a Rasta man neck, so-called Rasta man neck. And I put it and say I release black people that bandage as a white man. Anything can go so? What can go so?
It was just
Margoli still need to apologize for it.
stupid. It was just stupid. An act of gross stupidity.
Man, miss out a hard thing that in do, man. The one that beat me. It was almost every step that this man take my try to take people out of the food, you know. You me say?
All right, Richie. We have a few more callers.
Vicky, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Ricardo.
How are
Good
you?
evening, Cliff.
Good evening.
I am good. And I want to thank you so much, Ricardo, for checking on that message from the Watchman, because I too was very offended by the opinions. I mean, everyone is entitled to their opinions. However, as you said, foreign policy and negotiations have changed significantly in these last years. And the approach used in the 70s definitely cannot be the approach that we want to use now to negotiate our space in the world. And so to say that our Prime Minister ended up in short pants, I'm a new caller to your program, and it was one comment that made me stop and say I needed to make this call.
You should call more often, man.
As Cliff said, no, I'm not a public person like that.
Okay.
But as Cliff said, the environment, the place, you are dealing with a different type of leader.
Yes.
And Trump would have demonstrated that in even his second term. And so to now be antagonistic, and we would not have learned anything from other international leaders who would have had a dialogue in the space before. And so we were given an opportunity, and I think I honestly think we did very well for a small, as he said, the tick and the elephant.
Yes.
Even that analogy rubbed me a bit.
I mean, I can accept the tick and I can accept the analogy, but I don't. I think we were a pretty strong tick.
But then when you said we came out and his whole argument, we got something like a promise, but it was the start of a conversation, and both leaders indicated that.
Yes.
And we came out firm but respectful, where our Prime Minister was saying, listen, this is our relationship with China, this is our relationship with Cuba. And I really wish that as leaders of this country, we would stop, take a view of what is happening in the wider environment and not just our little neck of the wood, and do better analysis and criticism. I'm not saying that we ought not to criticize, but our analysis needs to be less colored, if you understand. That's my few words.
But but looking at the facts, that came out of Secretary Rubio's visit, we got a commitment to re-examine the travel advisories that were hurting us. Yes, that is a win. Yes, we got a big win. We got him to agree to admit to to the Jamaican people that Jamaica was not guilty of human trafficking, where the Cuban medical professionals are concerned.
Or supporting human trafficking.
Exactly. Yeah. We got him to admit that. Yeah?
And we also got to look at the issue of crime.
Yes.
And for me, that was the biggest announcement. The security assistance, the intelligence assistance, night goggle technology. Yeah.
I don't know where the watchman is getting off. What more did he want?
I don't know which tower he was watching from.
What more did he want?
So, that's my few words on it. But thank you, Ricardo, for just juking that in and just really noting.
All right, Vicky.
You know.
But you must call back, man.
Yes,
you must call
Vicky,
back.
You need to call us more.
I will try.
Please, thank you. Good. Faithful?
You know, Mr. Ricardo.
Yeah.
Hello, Faithful.
Good evening.
Yeah, man. I remember a couple months ago when with the indigent house and the house that premises were given out for other persons and the auditor general write some things in the paper.
She released a report, yes, to the Parliament.
To the Parliament. And Mr. Owens would not agree with what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that she was speaking from something that was not accurate according to Mr. Owens' view.
A misunderstanding.
Right. No, the word was ignorance.
Yes.
Yeah. I think he used the word ignorance, yes.
And Mr. Morgan said Mr. Owens should apologize. And I called in the same hour. And I asked him.
Oh, the watchman, you mean. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right. So Mr. Owens should apologize. I called him on the same program at that same time.
Yes.
And I said that what Mr. Morgan was saying, if it's not that, Mr. Owens have a right to express himself, whether he feel that he was in the wrong or in the right. Or could he say that he must come and apologize? I was listening to the program and I heard what Mr. Morgan said tonight. And I said I was never going to comment on it. Because on the end part he said, Mr. Owens was in the short pants and he put the explanation and said, I saw the thing go. And to me that was very offensive to what I said I was going to compliment, but OB to Ricardo said it. I think most persons of that vintage are living in the past. And Mr. S. put right in the paper and on radio. Everything that they spoke about at the press conference, he is of the view that they could have done that on the phone. He is of the view that the real reason why they was here was that he was Mr. Rubo was here to help Mr. Owens win election. That among other things, but none of the above things that they speak of. That was not the real reason why I was here. So those persons of those Inc. have some ideology surpass our thinking more time. And so I want to ask, what could they have said that could convince those persons to think otherwise? Because there's nothing that they say in the press conference, I'll say any other way, would convince them.
You know, Faithful, Margaret Thatcher, one of my favorite political leaders, she said something once, and I found it instructive, and I think sometimes Dr. Holness suffers or is the victim of this. She said, if her opponents ever saw her walking on the Thames, they would say it's because she cannot swim.
Exactly.
I think a lot of times, and I say that like, listen, you don't have to like Andrew Holness. You don't have to like him. But sometimes the criticism is ridiculous. I read that opinion piece from the good deacon.
Right, and he said that.
And I thought, what? It takes an active imagination to get to that point of he was here to help him win an election. I was like, what?
But not only that, no. He was on a radio program, and every line that they speak of, he said, no, it's not that, because they could have done that over the phone. And I'm saying to him, and I was asking myself the question, what could they have said that could convince them? Because don't matter what they say, no, he was not convinced.
So since it went that far, let me do a little bit of supposition. The Secretary's visit to the Caribbean, because he didn't only visit Jamaica, could also be a show by the United States that they're still interested in this region, right. A region that the Chinese have been actively engaged in.
So to come in person could also be a show of strength and a show that the U.S. administration takes this region seriously. It could also be that. I mean, that's one spin. Since we're spinning, that's one spin.
Right. And if you think like how the opposition and Joe speak, everything that Mr. Wonders does, it could never have done right, unless it have done by the PMP, because they feel that anything that Mr. Wonders did, it's not not doing right. Even with the Portmore issue, I guarantee, if PMP win the election tomorrow morning, they're going to make Portmore become a parish. But it is a thinking, but that if the Labour Party do it, it's not doing right, and it's not so it's supposed to go. It can only be done right when PMP do it. It's particularly made a thing like this. Look at the constitution thing that they are fighting over. Mr. Golding is operating as if having an election tomorrow morning, and they won. That then the Labour Party of Mr. Golding is going to fall in line and going to see to whatever they say. If they cannot fall in line now, how do they expect it's going to happen then? You see, that's a dilemma that we are in, Because he went ahead and withdraw his people from it. They're not going to participate unless the only way they can participate, unless they follow the blueprint that the people line out. Because what they say is right, and what the next party says is not right. Because it can't go down the right unless they go feeling way.
All right, Faithful.
Even with the Portmore issue, everything is the same.
Thanks for the call. Rose, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you?
Not too bad. Hello, Mr. Hughes. How are you?
I'm good, Rose.
Long time I didn't hear from you, Rose.
Long time I've been trying to call. I cannot get through.
Oh, in fact, I think I from the light thing, I not hear from you.
Right.
Yes, last year that burial.
No, man, I haven't heard from her.
I haven't.
Yes, sir. You're okay, though?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
How are you?
Yes, not too bad.
Good.
Yes, I was listening to the Watchman, and I don't like what he said at all. And I'm glad you tried to rectify that thing. And it's not the first. He speaks things that I don't like. Not the first. A lot of times he says things that don't add up. I don't like it at all. Criticize sometimes too deep. I don't think he's thinking about what he's saying. Mr. Hughes.
Yes, Rose.
I have something to say to you now. My father told me once that two men were quarreling, and one of the men tell a lie on the other man. So they take it to court. And when they went to court, and the way how one of the man tell the lie on the other man, lie look like truth, lie real. The man that he told the lie and could not do nothing but hold up his hand in court and said, "Jumping Jesus, bald-headed God."
What's it called? Jumping Jesus,
bald-headed God.
Bald-headed God.
Jumping Jesus, bald-headed God. That's a study lie spoken on Mr. Hughes. Well, I see Mr. Golding stay. Mr. Golding lie in such a way that if me win a PMP tonight, me that change. I'm ashamed. Me not PMP, but me shame. Mr. Golding not talk truth. He tell lie too often, and he coming like he no care. He say no mix up in the something there in Bunting and Golding something, and one of the office, the place did there Mandeville. One of the place was in Mandeville. You see Darren, Bunting and Golding.
No, it's not. That thing never mixed up with Darren and Bunting and Golding. He never said that. He
said he had nothing. You say
he had nothing to do with FinSac.
Right, have nothing to do with FinSac.
Right.
Sorry about yes. Say have nothing to do with. If you talk short man, I'm a big man. If you start behave like that. And Mr. Hughes, you know what I'm glad for again? Glad for know that Mr. Chin lose. I South Manchester.
Oh, yes. She had been
I'm
on
glad
this.
This is
Yes, man.
Yes.
She had complained from last year. Yes.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad. We can go sit down or go do in lawyer work when you have it done.
Oh. So what you think about the new man? When name
Me no really know him.
Ives. Yes.
I don't know him. I've never seen that person.
Yes.
But whosoever MP or whatsoever MP, Mr. Man, they go sit down.
You think whoever it is an improvement?
Yes, I feel so. So I feel that this one might come around and so on and so on. That man, I don't want me to say, one time you see him, come round, socialize, do nothing for nobody, the road them one.
Which division in again? Is Alligator Pond?
No, I'm not in Alligator Pond. I'm in South Manchester, near to Prattville.
Oh.
I'm near to Prattville.
Yes. Well,
you ever hear about Prattville, Mr. Hughes?
Yes, man, I hear about Prattville. Don't know it, but I hear about it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm nearing that side, and him responds that division.
Mm-hmm.
Come around. But he just lazy, he just do nothing, and then at the last point, now must say, them people, them son against him, and all of this and that. So he not do nothing, so you must again. If you get somebody to work, Mr. Hughes, and when you leave him at home to work and come back, the same person you leave him go work and same person come back and see him. Did I use him back tomorrow?
No.
Although people need a second chance, but the person not do nothing, you can't pay him to sit down. No, do nothing, man. You get rid of him.
All right, ma'am. All right, Rose. Good. West, the man from the east.
Mr. Fana, Mr. Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Ricardo, you see, when I'm not calling, I'm hoping my line keeps saying faithful. I am faithful, but people don't normally address me by that name.
Uh-huh.
So I wouldn't readily answer to faithful, because nobody really comes. So even though I'm faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get you tonight. Anyway, you are Ricardo living at 5 when I'm phone you tonight.
Why?
Because when I listen to the Watchman, and I'm saying to myself, even though the last slap fire Mr. Hughes, if him don't have anything to say, it cost him something by just upping out.
What do you mean? What do you mean now? Nothing to say. That's his opinion. I'm saying if you don't have any, because to me it come across like some diet bitter socialist that see in party plunging and him just can't bear it. That's how it come across to me this evening. Right, and I'm glad that people take it up, because I'm going to say other fine on your this evening. Because you have to hear my voice this evening.
It boned you.
I just could not understand as to. So when I heard Ricardo pull it up myself finally, so if I'm an idiot, I'm alone an idiot.
Well,
but Mr. Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Today, the program that you have at Pegasus.
Yes, sir.
I just one question if I would give her the opportunity to ask the young lady that I spoke to.
Yes.
We all agree that when adults make an adult decision, that is their right to make a decision. That's one wrong, all right? People must free to make choices in their life. And Mr. Hughes, you can't make your choice to please me, and I can't do it to please you either.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the question I would ask her, since she was focusing on if you are born this way per se, right? And based on how you feel, you don't feel like you are in the right body per se.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I born as a male and I feel like I'm a female and I go the extra mile and pay the money and do whatever needs to be done, if come next year after, my feelings change and my feelings change back to me now. What happened?
Wes, you're raising out of time, but you're raising a very, very powerful question. In fact, that's a part of the legal wranglings over transgender rights. In fact, arguments before the U.S. Supreme Court, I think it was last year, the court, seemed skeptical of accepting it as a distinct gender identity.
Yeah.
And that was what it turned on. If it's not a fixed characteristic, can you give it legal protection? Those arguments are continuing. But we're out of time, though, Wes. We're out of time.
All right, that's where we're going to leave it this evening. I want to say thanks to all of our callers this evening. Our YouTubers stayed in numbers right up until the end. Yeah? Good evening, YouTubers. Big up on yourself. Yes? Also, our producer, Yes, Sonia Stewart. Thank you so much, Sonia. And, of course, our technical operator, Mr. Andrew Anderson. And members of the news and production team. Thank you all so much. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Good night.
Who shops at Creative Building Finishes? You, the homeowner who creates luxurious spaces with our floor and wall tiles. The contractor and builder who are convinced that our ceramic tiles are right for the job. The architect and designer who make dreams come true with our wood look and porcelain tiles. Superior customer service, knowledgeable staff, inviting showroom, and you get where this is going, right? Shop 5 Red Hills Road or call 876-929-5553. Get tiles, get Creative Building Finishes.
Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast to the Mason Hall Water Supply Commissioning Ceremony at Mason Hall Primary and Infant School in St. Mary on Tuesday, April 1. It's an exciting moment for the community as 1,100 residents will soon have access to clean, potable water. Tune in for the coverage, exclusive interviews with Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, key government officials, and a representative from Rural Water Supply Limited. It's an event you won't want to miss. So, tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesday, April 1. It's the broadcast of the Mason Hall Water Supply Commissioning Ceremony at Mason Hall Primary and Infant School in St. Mary. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Rural Water Supply Limited.
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1